All right, I think we're live. I do this every single time. I wait about 5 or 6 seconds and then I realize that we actually are live. So, anyway, um, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Baseline Drunks Live. It's been, about 4 weeks, little break. We're back now, but I've got the mighty carpet punter with me. How are you, sir?
Good, Hendo. Hello, everyone. Hello, Dan.
Stole me thunder, mate. Yeah, we've got Dan Howard here as well. How are you, man?
Yeah, good brother. How are we, boys?
Yeah, everyone's going pretty well. I think we're all pretty happy for a little siesta, and now we're back into it. So yeah, no, it's good. What I say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So we'll yeah, it would be good to jump on tonight and have a yarn. Now, to those who don't know, Dan, you've been on the show before, and we went through a whole heap of the different Lakers cards and different bits and pieces that you've been doing. And so I think technically you're our first ever repeat guest. So however that feels,
Mate, I'm bloody on it.
yeah, that's good. I would hope that it was a good positive feeling.
It's better than being told you never want me back on again. So
there you go. See, that's like a stark contrast to that. So you got to be in front, I reckon. So we've already got Blake and we've got Josh in the comments already. Can only repeat some of it, not all of it, but that's pretty standard for the comments. So g'day, boys. Good to see you here. And yeah, look,
Hello,
I
everyone.
guess tonight we're going to go through a bit of a list of bits and pieces. There's that much been going on in the last 4 weeks. We've probably missed the boat on a few things, but I mean, the NBA's back. We want to talk to Dan about the Lakers, especially, and sort of see his thoughts on that. A lot been going on in the Formula One. We need to try and tip some NFL victories for the punters out there. We've got a different look to the merch update tonight. It's all sort of happening. So we'll run through from top to bottom. We'll see how long we go for. If we're still here at midnight, we've probably done either a really good or a really shit job. So it'll be fun all around. But yeah, how's everyone been in general? You guys are both in New South Wales and I'm in Victoria, so no more lockdowns now.
We can't whinge about lockdown anymore. We can't start the show with that. What the fuck?
There's like a whole segment gone.
Mate, there goes half an hour out of the show. Yeah, no, it's good, eh? It's good to just have a bit of freedom back, just to not worry about having that sort of, hovering over your head every time you go out. Although, you still got to be a bit careful out in public and that, but it's good to be able to go to the pub and have a beer.
Yeah, well, that was probably one of the things that we did was went up to the local and a tap poured beer to go with dinner was quite good. But yeah, I'm sort of taking it pretty slow. I'm not exactly in a hurry to run back into shopping centres and all that sort of thing, but we'll do a bit at a time. What about you, Dan? Like, what have you been doing?
Yeah, I've been back at work, so about 3 weeks now I've been back. So that was right when lockdown ended for us. That was good. Like, lockdown for me, it wasn't too bad, I guess. Like, it was nice having a bit of a break from work. I don't usually take breaks at all, so it was good to have, I don't know, just a bit of a rest, I guess. But after a couple of weeks, you get itching to get back and do stuff, and there's only so much you can do around the house and that sort of stuff. So it's been really good. I use the break to kind of, as you know, Hendo, I'm a coach, so I use the break to do lots of study and try and learn as much as I could during the time I had. So I got heaps of new ideas and stuff like that I wanted to come back and put into my programs and that, which was good. So, but it's good to be back. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be different. Like I'm in sales for work, and we're old hat now at returning from lockdown. It's been a few times we've done it, and it's always the same story. So as soon as things get restrictions lifted, the conversation starts going around. Okay, how many days a week are you coming back into the office and all that? And I must admit, I'm very used to not being at the office, so it's always a bit of a challenge. So we'll see how we go. But it's you sort of get used to working from home. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get used to new habits. But one thing that's been going on, I guess, apart from the lockdowns and all that type of thing ending, is the NBA season has started. So there's a bit going on.
Full swing.
A lot of stories. Yeah,
it's all happening, eh?
There's I actually did a fantasy draft with a few mates of mine. We've been doing, or a group or a selection of those people have been doing fantasy basketball for probably about 15 years. It's been a long time, and we've just managed to keep the the series sort of going, and we did a draft today, and it's the first time I've ever done a draft after the season's actually started. So I feel like I drafted a little bit differently because you actually know how players have started. So some players were a lot higher than others, or a lot higher than they would have been. I think if we'd done the draft before the season. But yeah, getting a little sneak peek of how everyone's playing. But yeah, it's been pretty entertaining start so far. I mean, your Lakers, Dan, are 3-3. It's not the end of the world, but sometimes to Lakers fan base it is. How have you seen the Lakers sort of get off to a start?
Well, it's been better than the pre-season. We've actually won a couple of games. It's I've said this to lots of people. Well, like I'm a Lakers fan that like with a team like this, obviously you want to win basketball games. Like if you've got three guys that have or can win an MVP, you need to win. And especially at the age they are right now, it's literally win or nothing for the next 2 years, and then you have to rebuild again. But I've said to lots of people that I'm mates with, and anyone that asks me about my thoughts on it, you really won't know until about 20 or 25 games in, like how they're going to go, because it's obvious. So big. Like, there's only 3 guys that are on the Lakers this year that were on the team last year, so it's a massive roster overhaul. And there's nothing like playing in a game. Like you can train all you want, but there's nothing like getting the reps in for a team, playing in games and that sort of stuff to get the chemistry going and that sort of stuff. So I think that they're in a working out period. Obviously, there's a massive adjustment for LeBron. Like he's got another guy who's very ball dominant. You saw when LeBron didn't play, Westbrook put up like 30-point triple doubles and that sort of stuff. He needs the ball in his hands, and they both have to learn how to play off the ball because they both are going to have to be on the court together in crunch time. They're on $30+ million a year. You have to have them on the court. So it's just going to be an adjustment period. I guess we're going to know in the next 15 games or so how it's really going to go, and then I'm optimistic about it because like if there's anyone that can make it work, it's LeBron. Like you see the players that he's played with before, and if there's anyone that's going to make someone buy in, it's LeBron. So
I saw a tweet today actually
halfway
on
through
that.
the season, big time panic mode. But at the moment, just see how it goes. Like I'm just pretty easy on it.
I saw a comment today on Twitter where they were sort of saying that basically LeBron is going to slow the game down so that people can't like see who can keep up with his intellect. Like it was put something like that. It's like, instead of going crazy fast and everyone's trying to do their average numbers and all that, it's just Bron's going to just slow it down so much and just who can beat his brain, basically. Like he's very good at just making situations work. So I think 3-3, like you say, for a team that looked pretty average in preseason, and like you say, they've turned over a roster that much. I don't think 3-3 is panic station at all.
I think my main concern is the defense. Like we've been putting up points with ease, like even given having Westbrook on the court with LeBron and the lack of shooting, we've been putting up over 100, like nearly 110 points a game. It's letting other teams score 120 and that sort of stuff is the problem. So just going to see how it goes, I guess. And it's an old roster, so maybe that can't be helped. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, I reckon injuries will play their part, like they do for all teams. But yeah, you hear some of these, right in the preseason, it's all of a sudden like Trevor Ariza is already out with an injury. It's like, I can see that happening to a few of them. But I mean, every NBA team has to manage that throughout the season, so they'll find their way to do it. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a couple of little moves halfway through. But
this won't be the roster, but by the end of the trade deadline, we'll 100% make some moves.
Yeah, I would have thought so too.
I agree with that though. What Dan said about the Lakers there, it'll take them probably 25 or so games before you're really going to see what they're made of. Because you got all these ball hogs on the one side, and like it's going to take them time to get their groove together, because they all want to do so much, and they're used to doing so much. So, but like if they can get into full swing, like who's going to stop them really? Like what the Nets, maybe, like
they've got quite a few old heads there, and they've got obviously anyone who's got LeBron and AD.
They've got that much firepower now, the Lakers, but it's just a matter of age and longevity, how long they can, because if they don't win enough games in the regular season, like I don't know if just scraping into the playoffs will be enough. They might need a better spot in
I
the
agree with
playoffs.
that. I agree with
So
that. I think
these losses at the start of the year might come back to hurt them.
Yeah, we can't do what we
year,
did
so,
last year and make the play.
Yeah, got to be careful.
We need to be above that, I reckon.
All right, what are we doing here? That's better.
Here we go.
Good to see I'm out of practice on screen sharing. That's very on brand. And for some reason, I've got Nubu Japanese foot patches on the right, so don't judge whatever I've been looking up online. So anyway, that is actually a complete mystery to me, the Japanese foot patch. But anyway, we'll try and get a sponsorship deal out of them at some point. So we kick it over to the West. Obviously, the Lakers.
That now. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I know. Just reach out to them and see if
is this the new Manscaped?
It could be. Yeah. Just
Card
shave
ladder.
Shave down your and get a card ladder account. That's what you do. So I mean, there's a few obvious what do you call it, suspects down the bottom of the West at the moment, and a couple of surprises up the top. I wouldn't have thought the Kings will be some team that will be sitting in fifth by the end of the season, but yeah, to your point, Punter, I don't think the Lakers can actually really afford to be sitting around this 7, 8, 9, 10 area.
No,
I don't think
we can't afford to play more games than necessary. So, the play-in tournament is just not. If
exactly right.
I would say if we go anything above that, I wouldn't be concerned, because if we just avoid having to play those extra games, I don't care. You're gonna have to beat all the teams anyway. If you're gonna have to beat Utah, you're gonna have to beat Golden State eventually if you're gonna make the finals. You might as well play them when you're as fresh as possible, I guess, if you're an old team like the Lakers.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting with the Warriors. I'm surprised that they're already 5-1.
Right.
I've watched a couple of their games. They look pretty good.
They look red hot, eh?
Yeah, they look good in the way they're playing.
Thompson back to that too.
They're all laughing and joking, man. That's dangerous, man. They're all having fun. When they're playing, it's not.
Yeah, they are that sort of team, eh? They've got heaps of camaraderie around them.
That's when teams are dangerous, man. When they're having fun,
They sort of think less and do more. But so it's going to be interesting. I mean, even Denver's without Jamal Murray still at the moment. I mean, they're holding court at 4-2
without Kawhi.
Yeah, we can sink the boots into the Clippers while we're here. It'd probably be about the right thing to do with Dan on the show.
Yeah, stuff there, mate.
I don't know if there's any Clippers fans out there that are watching, but
mate, there's no Clippers fans in the earth, because every time it comes to playoffs, they're gone.
I think one thing that's really interesting about the bottom half of this sort of the standings list here, though, has been how well Josh Giddey's been playing for the Thunder. He's
been impressive, eh?
Right,
not on the scoreboard, but more in the stats and
if you watch the game, you understand his impact sort of thing. I think he's always going to be a player. He's never going to stuff the points, but it's just going to be the other things he does.
Yeah.
You'll see it in his rebounds and his assists, but even more than that, he's just a great teammate. He's a very smart player. He's been the best junior, and it's it might be an obvious thing to say, but for the past 5 years, he's been the best guy in juniors.
How
and for
old
a guy
is he?
that doesn't score, that's a big deal.
He's 19, I think.
He's 19. Imagine in
19.
3 or 4 years, once he fills out a bit, he's got some muscle on him.
100%.
And he's actually pushing dudes around and that.
And his shooting's only going to get better.
Exactly.
He's
exactly
only
right.
going to get better.
Yeah.
The way he flows in the game, I think, is just as I'm not an X's and O's guy. I'm more of an eye, just eyeball the game, and I sort of feel like I know. When you look at someone, a young player, you sort of get a feel after all these years of watching, who can hold their own and who can't. And
they're playing like a more experienced player. He's reading the game like a 5-year veteran or something. And it's in his first handful of games, and you're like, man, this is impressive.
He definitely looks like he belongs. Yeah. Which is good.
And there's a lot of weight being from Australia, there's been a number of them now. It's not like the 90s anymore where he's, Neil Armstrong, but there's still a lot of weight on his shoulders, because there's not many of us. It's not many Aussies going over there doing it. And look how many Yanks are there through their college system, all that. Like, you're just a number at the end of the day, you know. Like, whereas like here, there's a lot more eyes on the one person, you know, all focused. So it's a lot of pressure on these young blokes, you know. So to see him performing, it's really good,
Yeah,
impressive, you know.
he's taken a few of those eyes off Ben Simmons as well. So he's probably
That's true.
done his mate a favour there. So which is good. But
Although there are still plenty of eyes on him.
yeah.
Now, what's going on there? You bring up Simmons. What's happening there? It's been all quiet for the last, you know, week or so, hasn't it?
Yeah, look, if I was Philly, I would be actively.
They
I'd
need
be
to
actively
get something
asking him
happening
to.
right now, don't they? Like, it's a waste on both sides. Like,
It's a weird situation because, like I was saying in the Cherry Discord as well, it's like the way I see it is if they're just at loggerheads and it's toxic and everyone knows that Philly's upset with him and he's upset with Philly, they'll get like 50 cents on the dollar trying to make a move and trying to trade for him. So I think the idea really, and you know, the idea really is to try and mend the bridges. I mean, everyone knows what the situation is, but at least if they could recreate some value out of him, they'll know they're not getting a dollar on a dollar.
He needs to play before they can trade him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just don't think he's going to play again for Philly. It would be very weird, but we'll see what happens. But look, at the end of the day, I think where Ben sits is that a lot of the control or a lot of the power in that conversation is going to be in Philly's hands. They're going to go and try and get the best deal. They're not going to try and. I wouldn't have thought they're going to try and trade him to somewhere where he wants to go. Like, I think he's just going to have to.
Oh no, he could end up. Who knows? God knows where. Yeah,
he could literally end up in a rebuilding team, and look, that's fine. He'll probably just make moves then to get out of there. So, I'm not sure how long he's got left on his contract, but I know it's. I don't think it's just.
I know
this
it's a
year.
few years.
How old is he now? Mid-20s.
25.
25. Yeah. So he's still got plenty of time, but he needs to get his act together as well. Like,
yeah, it's
the
scary
clock's ticking as well.
It's
you don't want to be.
Yeah.
No, you go.
Like I don't know how to put it in the words. Like, I think, like, I know why he's the way he's now. Like, why, like, this reaction is because, like, he got very highly criticized in the playoffs. But, like, I didn't even think that was, like, the worst thing. Like, he didn't cop, like, too bad. Like, they just said he wasn't willing to shoot and that sort of stuff. And for him to go so crazy about that, like, I think that's massive red flags for another team.
Yeah, that's exactly, mate. Perfect way to put it. Red flags. You know, like,
you can't cop that criticism from, like, I don't know.
Exactly,
like,
mate. You're a professional athlete, mate. Like,
it's exactly
you need to go and sort your shit out at the end of the day, because, like, you're going to cop criticism. If you can't handle criticism, you shouldn't be in the league.
That's
all
it.
places
You should not be a
too.
professional athlete.
You're going to cop it in Philly
simple.
too. You're
going to cop it
fans
anywhere. Like, yeah. Now, whether that's from fans, whether that's on social media, whether that's from the actual media, whether it's from your own coach, whatever it is, you need to have, like, this mental fortitude that us regular folk don't have. You know what I mean? Like because he's reacting like the way that us regular folk would, you know. But there's a reason we're not pro athletes, because we don't have that not only the talent, but, like, there's a whole mental side to it as well, you know. And, like, there's psychologists that get paid millions of dollars, well, maybe not millions, but hundreds of thousands of dollars to train these guys, you know. Like, so he just hasn't, I think, been exposed to the right people. He's put the wrong people around him. He's surrounded himself with the wrong people. That bloke, unfortunately. I think if he had the right people around him that gave him actual truths, you know, not what he wants to hear, but actual truths, then, you know, then you can overcome these problems. But when you're just hearing what you want to hear,
CP. Yeah,
like, like, you're never going to grow, you know. So
it's funny you say that, though, because that's an opinion that's come from other places too. I've heard that on from different places, even people that are semi in the know about, you know, the way all that stuff goes down, or with who he's connected to, and I've heard that on a number of occasions, just in terms of it's what
it just
what
seems
can
that way.
happen. You just get yeses from everyone, like, potentially.
And, like, you see it with certain celebrities or other sports stars or whatever. It's not like Ben Simmons isn't alone. Like, he's not Robinson Crusoe. It's just that, like, you know, you got a young bloke earning how many millions of dollars? You know what I mean? Everyone wants a piece of that. You know what I mean? So, like, everyone wants a piece of that. So nobody wants to piss the guy off. that's around him. So
Yeah, B's
everyone
coming
wants
I
to
in.
also
keep getting
think
paid.
it's him missing out on the boomers, like him not deciding. I think that might have been one of the worst choices he possibly made
That
as
was
well,
shocking.
and ended up adding
Because now
more
he's got the
pain to him
country
because
against him.
he saw us win a bronze medal without him. Like if he'd played on that team, the amount of love like he would have got from everyone in
Correct.
Australia and the amount of support he would have got from the whole boomers, I just think it would have been the perfect thing to like bring him up again mentally.
100%
Like,
agree
he
with
would
you.
have copped so much, like he would have had so much more support, and he would have like enjoyed like a winning culture and all that sort of stuff. Like just put him in a good mental state. This could be a completely different situation right now if he played in that team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100% agree.
Said the same at the time when he sort of made himself unavailable or whatever. I just thought it was such a tornado of I guess issues is probably the wrong word, but like they had the playoffs, they had the lack of boomers, they had, like next thing you know, he's jetting over to Wimbledon and people lost their shit at that.
Oh, yeah.
Like that part I care a little less about, to be honest, but
I don't care about the personal life sort of stuff too
no,
much.
me either.
Like,
But
that's up to him,
I think
whatever.
it just cascades on top of itself, right? So when people, like you say, when you got these different, these different bloody streams of criticism coming from all different angles, I think if you just
he's
fuel the fire, you just fuel the
Mm.
fire with some of this stuff. So
yeah, he has copped it. He has definitely copped it. I agree with that. You can understand as a human why he's behaving the way he does. But like he just needs some.
He needs to start realizing that if like he's got a lot of money right now, and I think that's playing a part in his decision. But right now he thinks he's got it all. But if he doesn't get his act together soon, he's not going to have that for very much longer. That money will eventually run out with that lifestyle that he's living. So he needs to, if he wants to play, like he's going to need to play till 30 or something. I don't know if he's going to get another contract, a big contract like this, if he keeps acting like the way he is.
I mean, we all know he can ball out. We all know the guy can play.
He's undoubtedly
he's lacking some, lacking some things in his game. Whatever, you can have that whole argument, but he's a freaking good player. Like when he's on. So I'd love to see nothing more than him to just get his shit together and find a good home in the NBA where, maybe he's not necessarily the number one or number two player. Maybe he's number three, so there's not so much to rely on his shoulders and there's not as much focus and he can just sort of more do his own thing. But, that's maybe living in fairyland because
I think the other thing to consider too is like the lifestyle, and I mean like the franchise lifestyle of being in Philly over the last, like, I don't know, the Embiid period, basically. All the trust the process, build. I mean, they were really close to sort of getting over the hump, and Kawhi hit that crazy shot where he was crouching down on the sideline and Embiid just slumped his shoulders and they were eliminated. Like, but they were close down to the next level and it just didn't work out. And then everything that's gone on with bubbles and bloody, pandemic this and pandemic that, like it's been a pretty crazy 2 years, and you can sort of see how it's sort of hit a certain wall. But the Philly fans have been waiting to see the result of this trust the process scenario, and as soon as it goes backwards a little bit, Philly fans in general will start getting feral. So I mean, you can map it back to a few of those things. Andy B sort of commented here saying,
"Yeah, I was just reading that. He makes a good point there."
Coaching colleagues threw them under the bus a bit, blamed them for the loss in the playoffs. So, look, because
I agree with that. It should be a team. They should all cop it as we. If one player is no good, like that's it. It's on all of us. Like in the locker room, we'll have it out, whatever. But out in public and that, we're a team. We stick together. That's what basketball should be. Shouldn't be so much finger pointing. I do agree with that a bit.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's going to be an interesting one to see. I mean, some of the boys in the Discord have been trying to get on markets to gamble on where Ben Simmons is going to go next. I mean, I think the perfect fit, honestly, is the Warriors. I just don't know what they package up. Obviously, Clay, Curry, and Draymond aren't going anywhere, but maybe a Wiseman type deal could be done.
Yeah.
And again, Wiseman doesn't really fit right next to Embiid, so
I seem to like him, but
yeah, maybe it's a three-way deal, or maybe it just never goes anywhere near. I just think that's probably like the best case scenario for Ben Simmons, and that's how I look at it. Whereas really, you've got to look at it with the position of control in that negotiation. It's going to end up being what's best for Philly. And they just need to try and they need to salvage whatever they can, get Benji out of town and get on with the next step. And if they can get value, like they've said they want to try and get, if they can get an important piece, like you can see here, they're 4-2 already. Embiid played hurt, I think, in one of those games, but he battled through. I think Philly actually look all right. And so if they can add another piece,
Hendo, they do look all
Simmons,
right, and they're looking all right with $30 million less on their team right now. So they don't really need to add someone to like that. They might even just be adding a couple of like role players and some assets for the future. Really,
I was going to say just get a couple, role players for now or something, and get a few picks or something. Get a couple of picks for him for the future, like whatever, like
Philly are going to be in a win now type
because
scenario.
He's just sitting on the sidelines now anyway, and they're doing well.
You've always had to do this. You've always had to build the team around either Simmons or Embiid and surround them with shooters, just like they do in Milwaukee with Giannis. And that's what they've done with Embiid. Like everyone else around him can shoot the rock, and then they let him just dominate the paint.
Yeah, and I think it's
it makes sense.
Embiid's a funny one to me because like I really like him as a player. I really like him as a personality. Like I think he brings heaps to the table in terms of entertainment. I was watching the game, was it Thursday or Friday, and they're all having a stab at him at the halftime show. So Barkley, Shaq.
Oh, what are they saying?
Well, they're all sort of saying, he should be dominating. He said he should have been the MVP last year, and and you can't win the MVP when you miss 30 games a season, was one quote. And then they're sort of saying, he should go out there and be dominating. I think they're playing the Knicks, and so like he should be dominating Robinson, and he should be doing this, should be doing that. And I thought to myself, I think I said it in the Discord as well, but it's like with Embiid, it's such a this is probably a good example as to how you deal with this sort of stuff, because Embiid, to me, if he takes a game off because he's got a small injury, they'll say, here we go. He's taken time off again. He can't be this, can't be that. But then if he plays through an injury, they never say he's tough. They say that he should be taking over more. And why isn't he doing things? Everyone always I think from a media perspective, they always seem to sit on the low side.
Easy target.
But then how does he deal with that versus how does Ben deal with that if they're on the same team? There'd be so many moving parts to that. But Embiid went out the next game and got like 35, 14, 4 blocks or something. Like, I don't know. He responded.
Yeah, and that's the best way that he can respond is on the court. He's just concentrated on his own game and his own performance, And as long as he's putting in, doesn't matter what any of that outside. It's just all noise, So, yeah.
They had some footage of him where like the whole. It's hard to tell, because at the end of the day, if you video something or if you see something at training or whatever, like ultimately, especially when it comes from a team account, like you've got the choice: do you share it or do you not? And I always think to myself, what's in it for the account that shares it? And there was some video of Sixers training. I can't remember who shared it, to be honest, but it's like they're all in, they're all got hands up and blah, blah, blah. And Ben's just in the background bouncing a ball. And then the commentary, the way it was described in the tweet or whatever, it said then he abruptly left after the training. Now I watched it and they all hands in. He wasn't in. That's probably the situation. But I mean, he just walked off dribbling the ball. It's not like he'd beeline to the door or anything like that. So I think there's a bit of hyperbole in it, but I also think he doesn't want to be there. And there's some toxicity there that it could do everyone good if he just got moved on to somewhere else. I would hope it was the Warriors because everyone would get so upset, but I don't know that it will be.
And you don't know if there's a team that the Warriors are going so well right now that want to add something like a big question mark like Ben Simmons to their team.
Yeah, it could upset things, Could he's more likely to go to a team that's going poorly.
Yeah, I honestly
in that regard,
he's going to go to a team that's not going to be in the playoffs, or at least isn't in the playoff picture right now. Because I don't see a team that's very optimistic about winning a championship, adding someone
change
like
the
him
team harmony in that by him coming in. Yeah, be a lot of coaches. I'm sure.
Thought on that though, because if you go back in the day to the Lakers when they had Phil Jackson, the Bulls when they had Phil Jackson, even just the Spurs with Popovich, when the organization is really solid and really understands what they're doing, and it's respected is probably the best part from other players and other people in the industry. Those sorts of clubs seem to be able to acquire what people would call a problem child, and they fit really well because there is no compromise. And I don't know what happens.
correct.
Maybe someone like Bill Jackson picks up Dennis Rodman and says, all right, you fuck up once, you're gone, and we're not going to pay you, and we'll sue you. I don't know. Maybe he said something like that. Or maybe he just put an arm around him and said, you can be as different as you want to be. Just get me 15 boards a night. Like, whichever way it is, I think it's not a write-off to suggest he could go to the Warriors, but
definitely not a write-off.
They're always thinking ahead.
Yeah. I just think it would have probably would have been more likely before the season started than during the season.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Anyone in the comments want to comment on where they think Benji Simmons is going to go? There's a lot of options. Like I've mucked around with the trade machine a little bit on ESPN. Like, it's not 100%, but it gives you an idea. Like, when you've got an idea in your head, you realize that it can't be done because of salaries or conditions. Yeah. It's good for that. But yeah, there's probably, I don't know, there's probably a good 6 or 8 places out of the 30 teams that he could go. So it'd be interesting to see what happens and what team wants to take a plunge on him. Another one I was going to say as well was the Bulls at 5-1. They're quite surprising because a couple of old Lakers Lonzo Ball's a while ago now, but Caruso, they've been playing really, really well. And as strange as it looks in a different colored jersey, they seem to have hit the ground running.
Yeah, for sure. They've started off very well. Like, I think their teams were very well balanced. They don't have anyone that's really too special, I guess. Like, you've got Zach LaVine, who's a very, very good player, but there isn't like a top 10 player on their roster. They're just a really good, well-run team. It's good to see, like, really good team basketball. They've all bought into whatever their coaches thrown at them, and yeah, it's nice to see the Bulls winning a few games. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think as someone who's followed basketball since back when the Bulls were good and winning championships and all that type of thing, it's like that United Center floor. There's something that's familiar with success in terms of that floor, but I can also remember once Jordan left and the bubble burst. I can also remember some of those teams getting absolutely, pantsed on that same floor. So I think they had their little moment when they had a little blip on the radar when Noah and Rose, Taj Gibson, all those sorts of guys, and they took it to them for a little while. But yeah, it's been a long time between drinks for real sustained success. So hopefully they can do that. But yeah, it's good to see the Bulls 5-1 as an old school fan, and the Knicks are playing well as well. So it's like, it's all those old school teams have sort of come back around.
RJ Barrett got a double-double today, I think. Scored like 35
scored
or something.
Big. Yeah, I was coming back from weekend, or not really weekend away, but kind of a weekend away. And I stopped and I looked at the phone just to check the scores, as you do. And yeah, he stood out. I think he got 30 plus points, and he must have had a big one.
He's a great player. I really rate him. I honestly thought that draft, I really thought he was the best player out of everyone, including Zion and Jar, like, coming through. I think this year's the year he needs to really go hard. Like, he's hit the floor running now, but I honestly think he can be an all-star, maybe even, I don't know, maybe push to be more than that. He's their long-term piece, really. Like, he's the youngest out of all of them. He's got so much potential on both ends of the floor. Like, he's a really good player.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't, again, like with college, I've said this a few times over the different episodes, but like I never watch college ball.
Yeah.
Like I just don't know enough about it. I might watch some of the March Madness. That's when I sort of start to tune in.
That's the fun bit, mate.
Yeah, but then I see these certain kids on draft night, and people are going crazy because Cade Cunningham got drafted. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I actually don't know who this is. And then once you start watching him in the league, it's kind of fun in a way, because it's like I just see them. I don't have anything to measure them up against. And so I just see them start to play in the NBA and see what they end up doing. And it's always good to watch them sort of come into their own. But yeah, one of my good mates said that same thing that you just said, Dan, about, look out, he's flown off there he is.
Now back.
He's back. Yeah, one of my mates actually said the same thing about Barrett back then when that draft was on. He he said something's very similar in terms of how he rated Barrett the highest.
Obviously, things have changed. Jar's a freak. Zion's obviously a freak as well. But yeah, I think RJ's just his NBA career started a bit slower, but the talent's there and he can be a really good player.
I'll tell you, I watched a couple of Jar's games this year. He's worked on his defense,
He's got the
becoming a
length
better
on him.
defensive player. Ja Moran, I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's worked on his defense. He's becoming a good defensive player, which I always like to see in small guards, because it's rare. You don't see a lot of, good defensive. Yeah.
I can agree with that. Yeah. Like I think he's sort of broadened his horizons on a few levels, because I saw another stat. It was about, they were talking about some of the rule changes with the whole, the pump faking into shots and all that type of thing, which for the most part is really good. I think it's a good bunch of rule changes to sort of
it's good they're clamping down a bit on that, eh?
Yeah, they're missing a few. I mean, there are a few calls that obviously go a bit viral where, even Harden's getting the shit fouled out of him and there's no whistle, but he's probably earned that over the years. But one of the key stats was I think Ja Morant's actually got the most. I think he's got the highest average.
Oh, hang on, Hendo. I'm just going to interrupt for 1 second. Magda is here in the chat. G'day, Magda.
Oh boy, he is. Hello, Maggie. Long
just noticed that a lot. 4 messages there. Same person. Got to be Magda.
So I think Morant, he had the best. I think it was the best points per game, but in the paint, by any guard or something like that in the league. So yeah, it's obviously he's taken his game to a new level, and I've watched a couple of Grizzlies games. They're a very hot and cold team, which sort of happens.
Yeah, the team is, aren't they? Yeah. Sometimes
when they're on
fire, but
when they're on, they're super fun to watch. But yeah, that tap gets turned off pretty quickly. Next thing you know, they're down by 20. So they'll learn. But
it's a young
lot
team.
of exciting players. Yeah, Morant's fun though. He's fun to watch.
What about LaMelo? How's he been going? He had a couple of hot games and then a few cold games.
Yeah, I think he got into foul trouble on one of them. Like he had 2 early fouls, and I think he was sort of riding that lightning for the rest of the game. I was only box score watching. I wasn't watching the game, admittedly, but every time I sort of checked in to see what he was doing, it's like he had another foul, and they're probably managing his minutes a bit, but because of that. But no, I rate him through the roof, LaMelo. Like I think he's, I don't know if he's going to be, like top 10 all time or anything crazy, but I think he's going to be a really, really solid player, and he's exciting. It's actually exciting to watch play. You don't know what he's going to do.
He's like Josh Giddey on steroids, mate. That's how I see him.
He is good to watch. Yeah.
He's super creative. Like it's actually, if there's only a certain amount of players where if their game is on, you're like, all right, I'll sit and watch this for 10 minutes to see what he does. Only a certain amount of players get that kind of reputation, I think, and he's definitely one of them.
He's willing to go like completely unorthodox on things, isn't he? Like, and it's great to watch. Like, yeah, it takes, excuse the pun, balls, you know what I mean, to play the way he does, because it's different, But yeah, it'd be interesting to see over time how it plays out, how it plays out, how his career plays out. But yeah, hopefully the Hornets there got good things for him, because they're a club, that's probably due for a bit of success.
It's time for them to start sort of doing something as a franchise. I mean, they sort of just, they've moved on from the Kemba era. They've got the LaMelo Ball era.
They've got much brighter things in mind after that. Well, how about Miles Bridges? He's bloody fire at the moment.
He's got to be when I say an early pick, I mean I'm talking the earliest.
Most improved,
yeah, 6 games into the season, it's like
have to be sure.
You got like player of the week or something. I'm like, that's crazy.
That is crazy, isn't it?
He's just very active. And that's what I like. I mean, I think
players, Jordan put a rocket up.
But players get a chance to be that energetic and that actual meaningful in a game when they understand what the fuck's going on around them. Like if you're constantly, you can have all the talent in the world and you can have all the energy and the hops and all that sort of thing, but if you're spending way too much time thinking about where the hell you're meant to be and what are you meant to be doing at all times, that's where I've seen players in the past, even ones I've played against as a junior and all that. Like, it just all gets too much in here. And everyone that's in the NBA, they've got heaps going on up here. I'm not pretending that they don't, but it's the ones I think that can just silence that white noise, and they just go out and they can create and they can just be. If they can actually do that, he looks like he's just made that like moment where I think he's very comfortable with where he sits in the hierarchy there, very comfortable with what his role is. And now all the pure athleticism and drive and passion and energy, that's what comes out to play. And so it's fun. I hope he can keep it up. I mean, it'd be nice to have the Hornets, back making noise. They're another one of those young teams that are fun to watch. So we'll
Heat
see.
look all right.
Yeah, they do.
What about Miami? Yeah, like, mate, I couldn't believe Sportsbet had them at like $2.30 against Memphis today, and I was like, what the? I mean, I lost out because I had it in a multi. I should have just taken it.
Yeah,
out,
other than the multi too, I had the Celtics
Did you?
bet the Wizards, and are you kidding me?
So did I. I had exactly the same. Then that was freaking tight as, eh? Like,
Double
I
OT, didn't it?
some of those like numbers are so lopsided, like the wrong way on the betting sheet.
It's funny,
so far,
like,
isn't it?
NBA betting's, it's hilarious sometimes. Like, you've got, like, I don't know, you guys, Carp Punny, you might know as a New South Welshman, but like, you see an NRL team, right? If they're paying $3.10 to win a game, they've literally nearly got no chance to win.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't even think about putting your money
in the
on
NBA, like a team at $3.10, like, you never know what's going to happen. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly right. Yeah, like the other day, there was a $4 team one. Who was it? It might have been the Hornets, maybe. I don't know, but I can't remember. But
you and I talked about Orlando.
Right?
Orlando were highly priced just the other day. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, that was $4.50 or something. They were.
Yeah, and they were playing like Toronto.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
$4.
Yeah.
They lost.
You can get them at the line at 13 points or something. You're like, man, what the hell?
It's like,
put the house
take
on
that any day.
That's right. No, there's always wild and wacky numbers at this time of year, I suppose, because they don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, if you can spot the cheeky $3 jobs, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Tyler Hero, like Peter B says, Tyler Hero has been playing amazing. I think we talked about this in the last couple of shows. We're talking about players that we thought might have a bounce back sort of year, and we talked about Tyler Hero.
Talk in the preseason. Now he's
he's third year now, isn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's third year now, isn't he?
Oh, third year. Sorry, I thought you said 30. I was going to say 30. I was like, I got to check.
He looks good.
Yeah. Bloody oath. Yeah. So he's still very young, but like, yeah, he looks very impressive this year, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know if you boys saw it, but like in the preseason, some guy was interviewing him, and he's like, "Where do you see yourself in like the NBA hierarchy?" And he's like, "I see myself with Luka," and all those names he threw out, and everyone was kind of like, "What the heck?" at the time. Yeah. Man's balling. Like,
that's what he's got to do, man. As a professional athlete, he's got to shoot the highest. Yeah, he's got to, like, what's the point in just going, "Oh man, yeah, I'm happy to just be
100%. What are you expecting him to say? "Oh, I'm
exactly." Mate, I want to win the fucking whole thing, and I want to be the MVP, and I want to, I want to win it.
The funny thing is, though, CP, like, these guys are these guys are freaks. Like, he probably legitimately thinks he's like.
He probably does.
Like, he probably legitimately thinks he is, because he's a freak. Like,
but and you probably got to have that mindset to be able to perform so well at that level. Like. So
yeah. I think like his second year, kind of like, he had a really big first year. Like, he made the finals and that sort of stuff, and like he was very instrumental in their game 2 win against the Lakers and stuff like that. I think like I just was like a bit of a hangover year for him. I don't know.
He copped a lot of criticism too. So
yeah,
if he bounces back, that shows a lot of fortitude.
Example of bouncing back after criticism.
Yeah, man, that shows a lot. For a young bloke like that, he's got a lot of
someone that's like 20
there,
years old, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, because he's sticking himself right out there, like you said, he's not afraid to put himself out there. So, and he's copping all this criticism, and he's still balling out. So, okay. So what's going to happen when he's got everyone behind him? He's got the whole arena fucking shouting his name, and this guy's going to go off. Yeah.
That's another thing. I think, like, when you talk about the different organizations, like if you were to draw you have two buckets, and on one side you're going to put all the organizations that you feel like are tried and true and are well organized, well run, well respected, all that type of thing. You put on one bucket, you put all the ones that are good, and all the ones on the other side that you think are shit. You would always put Miami on the side that is a great organization, and it's a well put together system. They got that many people within their system that are previous players. They seem to be able to manage that
Pat Riley's still
environment.
Yeah,
Riley's
he's a
still
big
there.
part of it, man. He's
still there, yeah, and he's an absolute basketball genius. Like on all, not only on the court, but like, the business side of it, even more so. Yeah.
Even Chris Bosch was talking about and his dog's just barking. Don't mind us. Bob wants his dinner, but whatever. He'll have to wait. So Chris Bosch had his was it Hall of Fame speech, and he was talking about how Riley can just do that shit where he's like basketball mafia level stuff.
Oh yeah, mate. Like,
so
imagine any room or arena he would walk into, man. Everyone would just go quiet and stare at. Like,
imagine being on a free agent.
Like
you're a free agent,
yourself
right?
in one end, but honored on the other. Like, just be
Can you imagine you're sitting there and it's like the team is saying like, we want you to come and play with us, right? And Bosch told the story.
Were you going to say no to Pat Riley?
Well, Pat Riley gave him a championship ring. It was one of his championship rings. He gave it to him, and he basically just said, like, you give it back when you win one of your own. Like, how fucking powerful is that? Like, that's next level powerful. And he did. And so the beauty of it is that after all these years, Bosch had never given it back to him, and then he gave it back to him at the Hall of Fame. A big handshake and a hug and all that. It was a really, really special moment.
Yeah, right.
The amount of Pat Riley shit I've heard over the years when he was coaching the Knicks.
Yeah.
He walked into the locker room.
And that's what I remember him big time from when I was a kid.
When I first got on the
Pat Riley bandwagon.
Yeah. But he walked into the locker room, and they had like the big ice buckets and that there. And now he's always a Marnie suit, slick back hair.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
And he walked in and he dunked his head in the ice water, and he just stayed there. So he just stayed there, and he stayed there, and like players are starting apparently to sort of look around and go, "Fuck, Pat, all right? Like, what's going on?" And eventually, like, he stayed under the water for fucking ages, and then he eventually pulled up. He's breathing, his hair's everywhere, whatever, and he's just looked around, and once he's caught his breath, he's just gone, "Well, that's what I'll do to win. What are you going to do to win?" It's like, dude, I would just retire from life when I saw someone that motivating. Just like in their element, just absolutely dominate. Like, how would you not go and run through a brick wall for that bloke in the second half? Like, you couldn't use it all the time. Like, you got to know when to use it. But man, some of those old stories of Pat Riley, yeah. So, I mean, to bring it full circle to the point, like, I'm not surprised that someone like Tyler Hero has been able to manage what might have been criticism. Miami's got a high, exposure rate for athletes, like it's a big deal. It's one of the best cities to be in, I imagine.
Oh,
as a pro athlete.
Oh, imagine the
fast
cars, the women, the money, everything going on in Miami.
But good organization. They backed him. They didn't blame him. They didn't shit on him. They probably communicated very clearly what his role was. We want you to be the sixth man. Look at someone like Jamal Crawford, or look at someone like Lou Williams. Like, we want you to be that guy. Yeah, Manu Ginobili. Like, we want you to be that guy. So will you come on the journey with us? Let's do it. Like, that's so different to like, bro, you passed too much. You fucked us over. Like, stark
I was going to
contrast.
say, like, the whole Miami culture and like even the fan base to the extent is like, it's nearly the polar opposite to Philly.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is true. Yeah.
I feel like Miami really gets behind, like you see a guy like Jimmy Butler come into the Heat after so much criticism and that sort of stuff, and just the love and like all that sort of stuff that he got, just does so much for him. Yeah, it just goes a long way. Eh?
He's a gun. Like, and I know he's probably at an age now where you wouldn't write him in your list of the next 5 years who's going to win an MVP, but it's kind of, he's like one of those. I think he's one of those crazy sort of MVP type players that will never win the award, but it's no lack of respect. Like he makes teams different, and he did it at Philly. He's done it in other places. He did it at Minnesota. Like, I think he's a brilliant addition to the Heat. And I think he's sort of basically helped carve out whatever their identity is.
Yeah, well, he's pretty much, he sums up their culture. Like, he's hard-nosed, defensive, very team-orientated, wants to do whatever it takes to win. He just sums up their culture. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, yeah, look, there's a lot going on with the NBA, and I think it's been, I mean, we're 6 games in, for the most part, but it's already been really fun, and there's a whole heap of sort of wild and wacky stories that are already emerging.
It's going to be a fun season.
It's going to be a fun season. I think it's in good hands. So, all right. So we'll probably shift over a little bit now. I reckon what we might do is we might look at the NFL tips and just see if we can actually figure out how to win an NFL multi with the games coming down tomorrow. Now, Dan, you've said that you're not a massive NFL fan, which you'll hear it from the guys in the chat, the guys and girls. It'll be welcomed with open arms because we cannot pick a winner to save ourselves. So don't feel any pressure,
mate. I'm just like, I don't know that much about. I don't mind watching the games, but I don't know that much about it. I'm not as much like Hendo. You know a lot more than I do.
Like, I don't know fuck all, man. So like,
what are we doing, lads? Are we constructing a multi or getting one?
Yeah.
Or?
So we're gonna good start with. So we're all clueless.
Yeah,
that's a good start. It's gonna be an interesting multi.
It's a good start, isn't it? I know. So we're gonna work our way through.
Patreon.
We don't. So we don't have to take a winner in every game or anything like that. But wherever we got some expertise, if certain folks in the chat want to throw their 2 cents in, and we'll work our way through it. I reckon we'd probably try and just pick, like, I don't know. We went balls out the first time and like tried to pick the winner of every game.
14 games. Many games
it was bad. And
12,
I do remember
whatever it was.
Yeah. Like, so I think what we'll do, we'll probably just take, like, we'll keep working our way down, I think, until we find something that we think we're getting close to. So maybe we'll do like 7 or 8 games or something. Yeah, we got the line as well. We got the line. We don't have to.
You got like Miami versus Buffalo. Like Buffalo's $1.10. Like, what are you going to pick there? You know, like.
Yeah, I think we could probably just leave it. Hey, like
skip.
Yeah. So I'll work through from the top here on the screen. We got my Eagles versus the winless Detroit Lions. One of the strange things that I can tell you about this, just due to fantasy ball, is that Swift for Detroit, he is listed as questionable every week, and he's in my fantasy team. And yeah, basically, whenever I leave him on the bench, he plays and dominates, and whenever I put him on the field, he shits the bed and doesn't do anything. So I wouldn't put it past us to lose to Detroit and give them their first win. But look, I don't know. Some areas of the Eagles game we're actually doing quite well, and other areas we're horrendous. So if Swift actually plays, the Eagles have the worst defense against the run, I think.
So we're taking Detroit?
In the NFL. I think we could take Detroit at least at the line, if not to win, because they're at home, and if they run the ball with Swift, yeah, I reckon bang it in. Because
it's done, mate. Mate, if you're tipping against your own team, that's it. Yeah. Enough said. Done. Enough said.
Yeah. So I think the Lions are worthwhile getting on. Panthers and Falcons. We'll see. Yeah, see Mayo, he can see Detroit winning as well in that first game. So
yeah, right. There you go. Bit of backup.
Yeah, bit of momentum. See, we're getting there. Bit of momentum. We're back.
Group effort.
That's a done deal. It's just put the house on it. All right, so Panthers and Falcons. I'll be honest, I don't have a lot to share about either of these teams. Neither of them really moved the needle for me in terms of like anything. So unless anyone in the chat have got anything to say about it, I'll just skip it. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Mayo's saying to skip it. So let's skip that and the Dolphins-Bills game just because. Yeah, I mean, even if the Dolphins were to shock them and win, we're not going to bet on it. Like, it's crazy. 49ers and Bears. Well, this is a really interesting one for me, and I'll just quickly share my thoughts on this because the Bears have put the ball in Justin Fields' hands, the young quarterback, rookie, and he started off pretty rough, but he's actually been doing all right. Whereas the 49ers have one of the best defenses in the league. So
Garoppolo goes all right, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he's like fair to good.
Not really.
He's serviceable. He's
reasonable. He's not one of the better ones, but
I don't think he's like top 8 or anything like that. But he's certainly like serviceable. I don't think he makes too many mistakes. So,
well, the Bears are 276 and they're at home.
Yeah, see,
compared to the 49ers,
Maggie's screaming for the Bears.
Is he?
Maggie is screaming for the Bears.
Oh, Magda's saying, but Mayo's going the 49ers.
We've got a bit of a conflict of interest in the comments.
Yeah, well, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, that is.
Maggie sent me some stuff. I'm gonna have to try and just gotta check the internal files there. It's coming through on all angles. I'll get back to that in a sec. So what are we feeling? Yeah, hot and cold. Fields and Jimmy. I think. What's the line, CP? I've got 4 on the ESPN side, but
4.
Yeah. Well, the 49ers either completely stop the Bears from scoring, or the Bears get up and about at home. Maybe we just skip it.
Change the handicap on the alternate handicap. Give the Bears, say, 6.5.
Yeah, that could work. Does that give us anything
for $1.61?
Yeah, let's do it.
I
reckon.
All right. So with 6.5 start, $1.61 done.
Average winning margin in the NFL is like 3.4 or something. So
all right, sounds good.
Let's do it. All right, Steelers and Browns. Well, again, it's if the Steelers are 3-3, it means they must have just come off the bye, so they might be fresh. The Browns. I don't know if Mayfield's playing. The Browns on this site.
How's that bloke been playing, that Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, I think he's been pretty good, by all accounts. I don't know. Maybe the chat's been watching him a bit closer than I have, but everyone's talking about the Browns, though. So maybe the Browns are the go.
Browns, straight out Browns. What's Cody saying? Titans in there. Did we skip them?
No, they're coming up next.
Oh, righto. All right, sweet.
Cody's moving at light speed.
Oh, Magda's in there saying the Colts. Oh, my God. Magda, are you just going against everyone?
You're just going the upsets. Oh, mate. Jesus. Yeah, I would absolutely pick the Titans, but they're probably already favoured, are they not? I don't know.
Nah, $2.27.
Oh,
the Colts are $1.64.
I would definitely go to the Titans for sure.
Yeah, just outright.
I would go outright.
All
I don't know. See what everyone else thinks, but I think
you sounded very
I'm animated. I'm up and about.
I'm happy to ride it, mate.
Yeah, do it.
Done.
The next one will probably end up skipping only because there won't be any value there. If Cincinnati's 11-point favorites, I'd say that's probably that. Rams Texans is another one. Like, it's saying here that they're 16-point favorites. The Rams, that's absolutely monstrous. That's like having a 35-point favorite in basketball. Like, that's a very high.
The Rams are $1.07 straight out.
Yeah, it's too small, I reckon. How about we move down to the Patriots Chargers? Now, the Patriots are 2-0 on the road. The Chargers have got Justin Herbert, who's been in pretty impressive form. But one little nugget of info that's got nothing to do with real life is that I played Kyler Murray as my main quarterback in fantasy, and he shit the bed and had a really terrible, terrible game. Points-wise, like, he did good things, but fantasy points-wise, he really was very ordinary. And the replacement I have is Justin Herbert. So there's every chance I reckon Justin Herbert has a massive game because he's going to be on my bench. So I feel like the Chargers will play very well, and I feel like Herbert will get the biscuits. But it's young quarterback versus young quarterback with Mac Jones.
Everyone seems to be on the Herbie bandwagon here. Everyone's calling the Chargers.
Cody's even saying
By
like
the
take the
looks of it.
Bengals and the Rams line. Like they're big lines as well.
Oh,
so-
Magda wants some Melbourne Cup tips as well.
Oh yeah, all right. Well, we'll see what we can come up with that. One segment at a
To do
time, though. I
baseline
think.
Melbourne Cup preview, mate.
Yeah, that's
I haven't
right.
even really looked at the field.
Oh, we can bring it up on the screen. I've got
All
technology.
right, so we're going Chargers out right there.
Yeah, I think so.
Done.
I think that's fair. Patriots get their first loss on
Done.
the road.
We're up to 5 legs.
5. All right. Yeah, well, that's probably about right considering where we're up to here. Jags and Seahawks. Well, I don't know if Cannon Boys might be able to share with me unless I look it up, but I think Russell Wilson is still out with injury. So I'm surprised to see that the Seahawks haven't won at home because they historically, I believe, have been a very home heavy team. Cody's suggesting to skip. Rob's arrived. G'day, mate. We haven't shared the tea tree stuff yet, Rob, so you've arrived just in time. That's all good. Good lad. All right, maybe we'll skip that one, CP. Jags and Seahawks.
Righto.
Past that. Washington and the Broncos. I would be pretty comfortable going Washington at the line. I've got a couple of their offensive players in one of my 2 fantasy teams, and they've been going
3.5.
absolute bananas.
Or you want a bit more?
No, I reckon Washington are a pretty good chance to win.
Okay, so $1.90, 3.5. Done. It's on.
We'll see how everyone's saying Broncos though. We've got a we got
Oh,
Magda's vote
Really?
doesn't count, but Cody, skip, Mayo more Degen. I don't know. I need Cody to tell me why he's on the Broncos because
Quick reason.
I was just thinking at the line.
We just need a little bit of sense, a little bit of
Yeah.
logic pumped into the equation here. If anybody can
Mayo's
throw
gone
something in.
Washington.
Even if it goes the other, if it goes Washington's way also. Hang on, Washington line is good, but
There you go.
Washington
line.
You like the
Let's
line?
do that.
3.5
Let's
line.
do that.
Okay, all right.
3.5 line. Add that in. We'll add that in.
Done. She's in.
Maggie, if you're listening, I can't share anything that's come through Messenger. It's got to go through Discord. Thank you very much. All right. You'll sort it out in a minute. Now, this was your game, Dan. We talked about this earlier.
Mate, are we going the
Buccaneers.
Bucks for absolutely no reason other than the fact that I think they're pretty decent from what I know.
There you
And that's
go.
not much anyway, but there you go.
I'd go
Buccaneers
Tampa
straight
Bay
out.
on the line. I'd go the line.
Oh, the
Yeah,
line.
let's do it.
They'll
The
smash
Bucks?
them. Yeah, do it. They'll smash them. Dan knows.
Minus 4.5.
Yeah, that's an
Well, you
easy
can pick
line,
your
I reckon.
own. We can go even further if you want. But what are they going to win by?
Yeah. Oh,
What do you
8.
reckon?
8 to 10. Like a touchdown is 7. So they could win by.
There we
Yeah, I
go.
reckon.
Someone in the comments have agreed with me. Bucks. Let's go.
There you go.
Seven.
Peter B.
All right, minus 7.5, $2.34. It's on.
There you go. Look at that.
Done.
Baseline Empire started
We're up
with
to
a
7
multi-bet.
legs.
Yeah. All right. I reckon we got either 0 or 1 more in us, and there's only a couple of games to go, so that's good. Cowboys and Vikings. I think it would be. I actually think it would be Cowboys. They've been pretty.
Vikings
good.
$1.60 favourite to 2.36. Cowboys.
That's surprising that the Vikings
3
are favored.
points is the line.
Well, if we're going to add one more game, maybe do we shift that line a little bit on the Buccaneers one and then take the Cowboys on the road? Do you think that's worthwhile, or is that crazy talk?
What you want to reduce it a bit?
Well, I'm just thinking. Mayo said that's a multi-killer. Rob said that's risky, going like 7.5 line or whatever. So I'm starting to get the heebie-jeebies. So maybe we just go the regular, the standard line for the Bucks, like 4.5.
Oh, hang on. They're talking about the Bucks. That Bucks 7.5 is a multi-killer.
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying?
I think so. So I'm thinking if we pull that one back to the 4.5 line,
I don't know about
or even just outright win
Okay, righto.
for the Buccaneers, but then
I'll
we add the
remove it.
Cowboys because it's got a bit more juice in it. And we'll
Right.
still get to where we're going, but we won't kill our multi. Yeah, okay. I've read it right. Don't
What
shoot for the moon.
what did we end up doing with Washington? Did we take them on the line? I remember you saying not to, but I've just got them still in the slip here. I just was like, hang on, do I need to delete that? I might have that wrong.
B2B, Bucks by 15.
Getting ourselves confused.
No, we took the Washington line.
Yeah, the line.
We took the line
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we
that's
were
right.
there was a bit of conjecture. So yeah.
All right, so Buccaneers, what, just straight out or a low handicap?
I reckon maybe just we'll take our medicine and just take them straight out as opposed
Straight
to
out,
winning by a margin.
$1.42, done. No mucking, no piss farting around, righto.
Yeah, beautiful.
It's already the multi's already paying $56, so it's good money.
Oh,
if it was to pay, so
life changing. It's life changing.
Depends what you put
Depends
on.
how much you put on it. So I reckon we put the Cowboys straight up. I think that's what the
Cowboys straight up. Is that
saying.
what everyone is calling for?
I think so.
Right.
Cowboys line even. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea if they're not favoured, because they'll be like +3 or something, 3.5 or whatever.
Yeah.
So then they can still lose on a shitty field goal at the end of the game, but we'll still win.
Will it come down to that? But are they a good enough team to? Normally with these,
I think they're pretty
with
good.
The shittier sides, I find that I don't like to take short lines because they either lose, right, or they come out swinging and they blow the other team out. It's never tight. It's normally the tight games are when you have two really good teams meet each other. You know what I mean? That's when it's a good option. The line, that is what I find anyway. But I'm no expert.
Yeah.
That's just the way
No,
I
that's
bet.
all right. Let's go with it.
But so I just prefer to go outright, so you don't have any mucking around. So if you like the Cowboys, just go outright.
Yeah, do it.
All right, done.
Do the Cowboys. And I think the Giants-Chiefs game is probably an absolute guarantee to leave alone because no one knows what the hell the Chiefs are doing. So I'd be like, this thing says their line is -10, -10 rather. There's no way. Like, they're all over the shop at the moment, the Chiefs. So I wouldn't be keen to even touch that game personally.
Maggie is searching for Melbourne Cup tips. He reckons. So we should have some Magda tips soon.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll chuck it. We'll chuck it in the Discord.
It's eight legs we got up here.
Yeah, so that's what we're aiming for.
I'll put that in.
About that. That's good. Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Got a few bonus bets here I can bung on. Lovely.
I feel like I feel like the Chiefs will definitely win, but I just they're going to be such short odds, and they've been really surprisingly not playing that well in some ways. But I would hate to the 11:15 a.m. game on Tuesday. You would hate to be 8 of 8 legs, and then the Chiefs lose to the goddamn Giants, and that cooks your multi. Like, it's just the stress is going to outweigh the
kill you,
the glory. So, no, that's cool. That's cool. That's good. So I'm glad we sorted that out. We might move to the next part I wanted to sort of show is Dan's Insta for a start. I'm going to show a little update. I got to find out your secrets, Dan, on how you take these photos, because
okay, here we go.
That's how I want to live my life. Those photos.
How do I switch the camera around? God knows. I don't even know how to do. Oh, anyway, I'll just wing it. So
we're actually going to get a live view.
Check this out. So this is. You need to invest in one of these.
Yeah.
They cost $10 from Kmart. They're just
ring light. Yeah.
So that's the first thing you need, and then basically you turn that on and you hold your phone behind it, and it just makes sure there's no shadows on like, I don't know if you'd know, like I used to take photos and always had like shadows on the card from where my phone was and stuff. It's heaps annoying. So pretty much that gets rid of that, and it like makes the card look heaps good. And then what you need, like some sort of dark background to do it on, and I just use my case, so like my card case.
Yeah,
I have
right.
the card sitting there. Hold up, I'll just grab one. Here we go. So the card sitting there, and then the phone behind the ring light, and that's kind of just how it's like as simple as that, eh?
Yeah, right.
And
All
I
right,
still don't even reckon some of my card, like my photos, look that great compared to some other people. But like I've had heaps of like people tell me that they look good, so it's good to know that, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's good. Like I like seeing how different people go about it. So here's some of the.
I just use one of those shitty $15 light boxes.
Yeah, I've been using my name as well, and it's starting to piss me off.
One of those ring lights. Look, it works good for some things, but like graded cards, it's fucked.
Yeah, like there you go. You look, it's not that great on that one.
Like, yeah, you see how with PSA labels, when you use these white neon lights, the case goes real cloudy.
Yeah.
Whereas in other light, you can get the case looking a lot clearer. It looks much better. That's one thing that I haven't worked out with how to photograph PSA cases properly. All my photos look shit, but raw cards look great. You know, yeah. That doesn't look too bad in the one touch, but that looks all right.
Yeah, I like it. So
I moved that card on today, actually, Hendo, for a big boy card.
Ah, you got an exclusive to share with us, or you haven't got it in hand yet?
I don't have it in hand. I'm waiting for it from America, but it's a Magic Johnson National Treasures Colossal patch order.
Jesus Christ, that sounds fun.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a nice card. It's a dream card for me.
Yeah, that's gold. I like the fact that you just chased down heaps.
What was that Nick Van Exel anyway? I wasn't even paying attention to the card. I was only looking at the case.
No, this was Kobe, this one.
Oh, it's a Kobe.
Yeah, Bowman's best rookie.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Easy. Nice card.
I reckon the Campbell looks sick, eh? Like on the light.
Yeah, because it's a player that I wouldn't like. That's what I like about your collection is that you just like you'll hunt down these obscure, like all the Magics, the Kobes, the Shaqs, that type of thing. They're all amazing in their own right, but it's like it's when you go chasing down, like we were talking about the other day, like Andre Drummond, and chasing down like Eldon Campbell. Like I don't know, I find that to be really fun.
I just love adding players I don't already have in the collection, eh?
Yeah, I like talking about it. It's always good. Like Wes Matthews in a Lakers uniform. Like
I needed the Wesley Matthews Lakers order, even if it's a sticker.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, like that. They're all with the light, and it just makes like a big difference. Like I don't know, you wouldn't have to scroll too much further to see like the other ones, sort of thing. Like, or maybe a little bit. Like here, you see, go up a bit. Check out the PSA, not the PSA, the Beckett Kobe, rookie card. I keep going. You'll see it when it comes up. I think it might be. Yeah, there.
One there. Was it Chrome?
Do you see how like it's got all the shadows and stuff? Like that's without the ring light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It like makes a big difference, eh?
But you see, like, look at the actual case there, right? See how the case is like, look down the bottom of the case there, it's quite clear.
Yeah.
Like I see some people get their whole photo that looks like that. That's what I want to fucking try and get.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a crack with the light and see if it makes a difference. But I kind of don't like there's heaps of cards on my page that like I've uploaded ages ago that I'd love to like upload with the light, but I hate like re-uploading things twice. Like I just don't like it, eh?
Yeah, I did that with the Philadelphia
Eagles.
Eagles.
Just replace photos.
Yeah, it's just
you
weird.
Can't replace. But if you were going to do like, let's say you took this photo, Glenn Rice, and let's say you decided for whatever reason, I don't want to do this photo, I want to do another one. You would post it again, and it would appear up the top as your next photo, but this one would still be there. Yeah, it would still be there. So you just have to right-click it and delete it, basically.
So you can't. Yeah. I'd say you can delete your old ones.
Yeah, I did it with my Philadelphia Eagles account, where I sort of once I got the.
But that's I was trying to because if people commented on it and Like,
Yeah, it depends how attached you are to it.
Past history there that you're deleting.
Yeah, it depends how attached you are to it, I suppose. But I don't know. I mean, like you said before, Dan, like these ones where you can sort of see the reflection, you might want to go and dig that one out.
Like that one's hard though, because like I'll tell you my secret anyway. Like I always take like my photos, unless it's like a PSA graded where I literally can't take the case off. Like the ones I've taken the one touch, I have it without like the top of the one touch on. And like with my other cards, I take them when it's like without a sleeve or anything. But this one was like, see, it's got the sticker and it's like encased in there. So like I didn't want to rip that off and like take it out of the sleeve and that. So and the sleeve in there is a bit like crumpled up, as you can see. So it was always going to be a shit photo regardless, I guess. But
yeah, no, I get you. That's cool, though, man. It's a great collection. I was going to ask you too, because you do quite a few like little live crosses and that sort of thing with is it Baz City cards?
He'd love. He's getting a shout out right now. I hope he's watching. He said he was watching. I bet you he isn't, the dog.
No, it was I've tuned in and watched a couple of them where you guys have been. There was one where he was just at work, and so he was like hiding back in like in the change rooms or whatever it was, the locker room type thing where they changed up their gear, and he was just sort of sitting there, and you could see him like he's like looking down at his phone, like doing the cross, and then you'd see him just sort of go. Someone was coming, and then he was.
He's a legend, bro. He's one of the like you as well. Like when I first got into it, kind of like you just start talking to people, like people just start messaging you and stuff like. I just like it was like a select like maybe 4 or 5 people like I'm real close with in the hobby, and I just talk to all the time and stuff. And me and him like. I went like I always go live for like mail days and stuff like that. But like,
that's what I've watched.
One time he just he was like, I want to just jump in and have a chat with you. Like I reckon that'd be like, and he just did it. And now he loves it. Like he wants to do it like every week. Like he wants to make it a week on like a Saturday. He froths it.
Yeah, that's good. The more the better, I reckon. Like people that just I mean, just everyone's just sharing their
That's
own
what I
opinions
love
and
about
stuff.
the card group, man. Like I find like. I don't know, like if this is the same for people that are watching, whatever. But like when you've got like I wouldn't say like let's just say your real mates, like the people you know in real life, and like you hang out with and like you've grown up with and that. It's kind of hard to keep talking to them like all the time, like through the week and like that sort of stuff, and like think of things to talk of. Like usually you just go, hey, how are you and how you been and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But like I find with the hobby people, the hobby people, like you can just constantly talk to about like your collection, and like you just can, it just heaps easy to talk about the hobby. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, I find people are like, I'm talking like 90 to 95% hit rate, I reckon, where people are just genuinely into you being into what you're into. I know it sounds a bit of a tongue twister, but it's like, if someone's like massively into just using what's on the screen here, like let's just say someone's like massively into the Seahawks, right? The more I talk to them about what they're into, the more you sort of see things online. You might tag them in a Facebook post. You know, like I flicked you that link the other day because Dale had put up the
that was a hell of an assist as well.
Yeah, the bloody, what was it? Andre Drummond auto for Recon. That's right. So yeah, but like the fact that we've talked so often about your collection, like me personally, I couldn't give 2 shits about an Andre Drummond auto. But as soon as I saw that it was Recon, it was new products, it was autos, and Drummond's pretty random from a Lakers history perspective.
100%. You knew it was right up my alley.
Yeah, I was like, bro, just it doesn't hurt. Like it takes me 2 seconds to copy a link, and if you don't buy it, well, or if you don't like it, even it's like, all right, well, cool, we keep moving. But it turns out it was something you could do with, and it adds to the collection. So. That's what I like about the hobby is that there's so many different flavors that it doesn't.
100%. Yeah, everyone's looking out for each other and stuff. Like, like even like people I don't even know. Like, I don't know if you're on any like the sales groups and that sort of stuff. I'm on a couple of them, but like people like I've never even spoken to I've never even spoken to online. They don't even know who the heck they are. Like tagging me in Laker auto posts and stuff. It's like sick, eh?
Yeah, it's good. And look, at the end of the day, you get the info. And what you do with it is what you do with it. But like as soon as I opened the account here to have a look, and I saw like Larry Johnson, like by exactly the same token, I immediately thought of Chesh because like he's got a heap of Larry Johnson stuff. So Yeah, it's just I think you end up identifying people by the different things they collect, and then just by way of the hobby, honestly, you feel compelled to let them know when you see something out there,
Magnus
especially
put
if
his
it's going
cup
cheap.
tips out here.
Oh, is he?
Just so everyone knows. Take notice.
We'll
Put a trifecta on, mate.
get to the cup tips.
I'm
out for
no,
the
but
cup for
no,
sure.
you're exactly right, guys, about that. Exactly what you're saying there about the hobby in general. I just think the community is just great, eh?
Yeah.
Seems like in America, it's because they got so much more population. They got more bad eggs. You know,
Maybe
you just
I don't know.
hear a lot more stories and that. But over here, I haven't had any dramas, eh?
No, I've never had any
I've done
dramas.
heaps of wheeling
I'm
and
pretty
dealing and
lucky.
that. Like, yeah. Like, I haven't had any problems. Everyone's
Like, I'm
real
sure
good,
it happens
you know?
and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Like, you always
yeah.
see stuff about people like maybe getting screwed over in a sale or something like that, but like it's pretty rare.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no, I think
that's
so
just my
too.
experience. Yeah.
I mean, you got to be careful if you're paying.
Oh
Obviously
yeah.
depends how much
When you're
money you're
paying big
spending,
money and
but
that, you got
like,
to be careful.
yeah.
But I
Like,
think that's what helps with the groups and that. Like, you kind of can know who you can trust and that's like. There's this bloke that's come out of bloody nowhere and he's like, I've got this $1,000 card. Are you keen on it? Then you're about But if you're saying the sort of bloke that's sold heaps of cards and obviously he gets heaps of likes on his posts and that sort of stuff, like you can kind of work out yourself, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
exactly
see, like
right.
when someone puts up like they put up something and people will just vouch for them without being asked.
Yeah,
to.
100%. Like that's another thing, like vouch posts. Like, how good is that?
Yeah. So it's like it allows everyone to feel a bit more comfortable. But yeah, I've seen a few. I don't know, more around Facebook and Facebook groups. I've seen a few.
Yeah, I don't really use that. That's probably why I've never
situations around there. I'm a little bit
but...
sort of stiff arm the Facebook sort of side of things when it comes to buying and selling. I sort of take my chances on eBay, or if I literally through the hobby and through chatting, it might be Discord, might be on the chat, might be wherever, but the Cherry Crew or something like that. It might strike a deal that way. But yeah, I'm starting to feel a bit like, fuck these Facebook groups. I've had about enough.
I'm going to be honest. I've like unfollowed nearly all of them. One because I need to save some money because I've been spending a lot.
Yeah.
But two,
every time you open your phone, there's cards
well.
there. It's like Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm going to share the Tea Tree page, bro.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think he's in here too. I think Rob's in here also.
Yeah, Rob's getting about. He was just commenting on Grandmama LJ before, so we got. This might look familiar because we've got the baseline drunk stuff as well. But Dan, you've put together your own little collection here to be able to.
Oh, I wouldn't give me any credit whatsoever. I'd give it all to Rob. Rob's put all this together like in his own spare time. Like I haven't paid him a cent. Basically, it's like just from what you were doing, Hendo. I saw you like obviously had some merch and like the profits of that through the Tea Tree company go to I think was it Food Bank?
Yeah, Food Bank. Yep.
Yeah, so I thought that was an excellent idea, and basically I got through you. Like we reached out to Rob and said like I'm very passionate about mental health. I'm not going to really get into it, but I'm very passionate about it and that sort of stuff. I think it's
good.
Not talked about enough. I don't think it ever will be, but I just obviously want it to change and like help out as much as I can. So all of my profits from these shirts that Rob makes and designed, they all go to Beyond Blue. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Some of these look pretty cool, man.
Yeah, they're good.
He's done an excellent job.
I like this bottom left one.
Looks
pretty good.
Yeah,
and the grey one in the middle there looks alright. The
lightning bolt.
That one there.
Yeah. So like all the ones that are like pretty much everything that's not like there's only two there that are Dan Howe cards. All the others is like last year during lockdown. I obviously we couldn't play sport or I couldn't coach. I made my own little coaching brand and like made all these training videos for kids to do at home, sort of thing. And made a little brand for it, and it kind of went a bit crazy, and that's pretty much like all that's about.
Well, I've decided I'm going with this one because I reckon if you're down there at Woolies and you're buying your groceries for the week, and someone sees something like that, I reckon that's going to make the most sense for me.
Looks
I'm
like an
I'm
old
gonna
school,
go.
like
Yeah,
basketball
Yeah,
training
sick, eh?
shirt,
Looks like
eh?
those college
Yeah,
old school shirts.
Yeah, like a
that's what I
90s
reckon.
basketball training shirt. It's cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
if
love it.
Rob's still watching, massive thanks, brother, for all the work that you've done. You run a really awesome company, man, and all the profits that go from mine and Hendo's shirts, it's all for a good cause, and we really appreciate you donating those profits to those causes.
Yeah, damn right. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Mm.
But yeah, I'll place my order because I know that you jumped on board with the baseline gear, and I'll jump on board with the
I
Coach
told
Dan
you
gear.
last time that I was going to wear the shirt, and I had it in the wash. It was bad timing, eh?
Yeah, well, we took a 4-week sabbatical, so we threw everyone out. So don't worry about it. It's all good.
The hiatus.
It's all
Just
good.
imagine I'm wearing mine.
Yeah, the highest. Yeah, we can do that. But no, I reckon I definitely like the idea of the distress, like the
distress
basketball.
is what I like, eh? I really like that.
Yeah,
That looks a bit old school and retro.
yeah, I love it. That's cool. But yeah, good stuff. I love it. So yeah, Rob's happy to hear that, and
It's good
like I
name,
said,
like
we-
Coach Dan basketball. That's sick, man.
Yeah,
It's like it's easy. It's so easy to just go Coach Dan. Like,
yeah. Well,
and
that's all. Like, I don't like
a
I don't
good
know.
brand.
Kids and that. I just tell them like lots of people in juniors and that call their coach by they just say coach or whatever. I just like I'm pretty casual. I'm just like Dan, and then the young ones all call me Coach Dan, and all the parents call me Coach Dan. So I'm like, that sticks. What's wrong with that?
It's so
Yeah.
self-explanatory, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's a good
Get
point.
straight to the point.
Yeah, like he's a coach. His name's Dan.
There you go. mate. We're ready to
yeah.
rock and roll.
I love it. That's so good.
It's awesome. Yeah, I really
So
like
yeah,
it. It's cool.
jump on board, go and have a look. We'll do some sharing and that as well. We've been a bit out of action for the last few weeks, but yeah, getting back on board. I'll share some stuff and send some links out and all that sort of thing. And yeah, if you get a chance, you want a cool distressed t-shirt that makes you look like you run around more than you do, go and get one. And we'll like Rob said and we've all said, yeah, money goes to a good cause. The profits are all there. So I wanted to
Magda's all over you. He wants you to check the Discord. He's got pics of cards he wants you to share.
I've just looked down. I've got 6 messages. That's a lot. So Maggie, if you could just put the comments, you can reply to me just in the comments. But what would you like me to do with these images? Are you wanting to sell these cards, or you just want to share them with the people? Or I'm not sharing the Sam Walsh one in a Collingwood jumper. Not doing that. That's an AFL joke, but Sam Walsh is our greatest hope of a young player at Carlton Football Club, and the AFL photoshopped him in a Collingwood jersey today for Halloween. So I'm absolutely not sharing that one, Maggie. But there's let me know what you want me to do. So no sharing.
Oh, no sharing now. What?
So why am I talking about it on the show then? What is going on?
Mate, it's a Maggie takeover.
Yeah, it is. Well, we've asked the question. We're wondering when Maggie's going to come on the show, and
get on here, Magda.
You got to come on, Maggie.
We need him on. That would be like that one. Speaking of like the view count, Hendo, that one would go through the roof.
That would actually. That would. We'd market the shit out of it all week too. You know, we'd ask all the accounts out there that have got more followers than us. We'd be like, hey, share this, please.
Cherry Live channels would be plugging it.
Oh, here's $5.
Surely.
We'll send you a $5 ship my cards voucher. It's like, can you just plug it a bit? Yeah. So it's it'll be funny. I'm going to share one that he has sent me though, because I think it's worthwhile, only because it's a cool card. And if he doesn't want me to, well, he shouldn't have sent it. Let's be honest. But it's a Michael Jordan 89 Fleer. Like, I like those cards, so
yeah,
I'm
it is a
happy
sick card.
I'm happy to share it.
It's a good card. Look, that card would be I'll tell you, in good condition, probably pack fresh condition. It's just a little bit off center, as you can see.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why it's an 8. But I bet the corners on that are in good nick. It looks pretty pristine white. So it's a nice card there, Magda.
100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's a like
Yes.
good PSA 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
sick
one.
card, bro.
I'll
Plus,
share.
because
I'll
if you
share
think
one more.
about it, like Jordan's rookie card, I mean, his rookie year was what friggin' early 80s, 84 or whatever
84,
it was.
85.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, his rookie card's 86, so that's only his third year card.
Yeah, right.
89.
Cool.
Well, actually, it's fourth year, isn't it? Because it's 86, 87. Yeah, so it's fourth year. But yeah,
The other one is
still.
Trey. I love watching Trey. I've watched him I've watched 3, I think, of the Hawks games, or maybe it's 2 and a bit.
Hawks are
I'm
overall
legit.
disappointing me, but
Really?
yeah, overall as a team, I think they're pretty piss poor, to be honest. But
Oh, interesting.
yeah,
Our first fight.
but
Trey.
Trey, but Trey on the other hand is spectacular, but he's not the sort of player that can carry a team on his own, in my eyes. You know what I mean?
What?
He's just not that sort of player that can carry the team on his own.
That's interesting.
On his own shoulders.
Yeah,
But
okay.
yeah, like, you know, controversial. You know, yeah, I know. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Because I reckon he is that guy.
Good card
Like,
though. Like
yeah.
I actually
Good
want
ripper.
a Trey Young optic. That's like, or a Donruss, because I prefer that design over Prism. You know, so
Yeah,
like
okay.
I am actually in the market for.
Well, there you
Because
go.
I don't
Maggie.
own one. I don't own one. No, but like I'm a PSA 10 only
That's
snob.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, yeah. But like, don't get me wrong, I still got love for the lower grades as well. But if I'm buying for my own PC,
yeah.
it's a
I
10
remember we
or
talked
nothing.
about it. You made a really
like,
good comment. I quite enjoyed it. You said it's like it's the completed journey for a card. I
yeah,
think is
that's
the way
sort
you
of the
put
way
it.
I look at it. Like, you can't
It's
get any
like,
better.
yeah, it's
There's
like,
nothing. What else? I mean, you can get a BGS black label, but like you're sort of pushing it a bit, you know. Like yeah, like you can't really
cool
get.
though.
Well, yeah, any better version of that card, you know. So yeah, sort of the way I
No.
look at it. But
I like the way you put it, because it's like, yeah, there's a finite sort of journey a card is going to take. And
yeah, there's
like,
only
you
going to be a
choose to look
certain
at it that way.
amount of PSA 10s, yeah, and I'll say PSA all the time, and it may be different grader over the years or whatever, right? But there's only a certain amount of PSA 10s, and we all know there's going to be more 9s than there are going to be 10s. So like, you know, like, but some people prefer to buy like 3 9s for the same price of 110, whereas I'm that guy that buys the 110.
Yeah.
You know, but it's
I
just
gotcha.
it's just the market for you, you know, because the 9s you could probably flip quicker and easier because they're lower price, you know. So that's what I found. Like higher price stuff, and even if it's hot, it still moves slow because, especially in Australia, because we don't have as many buyers, you know. So like, yeah.
Someone's got to commit. But you upgraded a lot of yours recently, Dan. Yeah, like you were sort of looking
I
at.
did.
You had a 7, and you're like, I'm going to bump this to a 9 or whatever.
Beautiful.
I had heaps of raw Kobe Bryant rookies, and I've always wanted to turn them into graded. Like my plan was to maybe even grade some of them myself, but obviously, like in recent times, that's really hard to do and very expensive. So I pretty much upgraded, I'd say, just over half of them to PSA 8 or above.
Beautiful.
And,
like, see that card, a Kobe Bryant rookie. That's like, I've got exceptions to my own rule, and that any Kobe Bryant rookie card will be an exception. Certain players that I'm happy to settle for lower grades, you know, and Kobe, especially because they're 25 years old, you know.
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
it.
it's going to be
100%.
so hard to get. Whereas if you pull a modern card out, there's
Yeah.
no reason it shouldn't be a 10. The only reason it isn't a 10 is because of poor quality printing, poor quality packaging, poor quality handling, you know, whatever the reason. But really, there's no reason it shouldn't be a 10. But when it's 25 years old, it's a different story.
Yeah,
Because that
you can
card
make
could have
an
been all over the
exception.
world, in all different folders, 20 different houses, you know, like multiple different environments, like, and it still gets a 10. Like, now that's fucking awesome. But even you get a 9 or an 8, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, really. So
isn't that why the grading all got bloody jam packed? Because everyone was sending, like, during the boom.
There's a lot of shit though,
like, Zion base cards and just like grade.
Yeah. Like you look at the pop count of the Zion and look how many 9s are there, you know, and I wonder how many of those 9s people would have gone, yeah, that's probably only going to be a 9 and just sent it in anyway because they knew that they could probably still get a couple $100 for it. But now you probably get $50 for it. Yeah, I don't know. You probably still get more. I'm not 100% sure what Zion's
but
market's
still,
like. But
I remember saying like during that time, like there was a lot of like when you were watching breaks. For me, anyway, like when I was watching breaks, it was like, you know, someone if you drew Memphis or if you drew New Orleans, it's like, oh, you're starting to open like a proper big.
You're winning the daily lottery.
Yeah, it's like if this is like a Zion RPA National Treasures fucking
mate,
thing,
I just jacked fucking Pelicans in fucking machos. Look out. We've got a fucking Prism hobby box and we've got a Donruss optic hobby box.
Yeah.
Plus, you know, all that, like we've got a good shot at some decent Zion cards. Like, bang, Zion silver comes out. There's $2,000. You know, like bang.
Nuts.
Like
I've been saying the
crazy,
whole time though, like the Ja Morant for me is the better long-term investment, and I've been saying it since the first season. Like I like both the kids. I think they're both pretty cool players, and they both seem to be like got their head screwed on right and all that sort of thing. I just worry about Zion's longevity.
Yeah.
If I was holding like I don't think I could, but if I was holding like a $5,000 Zion card in my hand right now, I'd be like, sell that motherfucker for sure.
Be worried, eh? Yeah, like
I would be.
I've got Zion. I've got a couple Zion cards that like are up there, and like I've fucked up too. Like I had people offering me $600, $700 for these cards, and like I've got them listed at that now, and they're not even selling. You know, like I'm like I should have just fucking taken it at the time, but it's like, nah, you want that extra $100 or $200.
Yeah,
it's like, nah,
but that's the game.
You just got to cash out if that's what, because that's what I was looking at. It was a money thing. So like, it's not like I'm heavily invested in Zion, although I think he's a freaking fantastic player. Don't get me wrong, but I was never going to invest in a player at that. I'm not the sort of person that invests in people at that peak. You know what I mean? Like, I just happened to come across these cards in breaks and got lucky, you know, and then got them graded, and they're worth pretty good coin then. But yeah, like, he might be a good buy now though. I don't know what I haven't. I should look into that, but he might be worthwhile. Especially, I bet there's a lot of Zion cards that are underlooked. There's a lot of probably other products, not just your Prisms and even optic. There's probably a lot of other Zion cards that are. I think there's a lot of cards in the market, modern day market.
I think if I had a $500 like current value, if I had a $500 Zion card and someone wanted to trade me for what's worth $500 Ja Morant card, I'd just trade it in a heartbeat. I'd be like, yeah, I'm on. I think Ja Morant's
you loving Ja, eh?
Yeah, he's got the it factor. Like he's got that it factor.
He's got that
in the way he talks, the way he flows through the game. He never looks panicked. He has ups and downs too. Yeah, but he's marketable. He's super marketable. He seems to be a nice kid.
As far as his cards go, like the value is tied into popularity, you know. And that guy's always going to be popular. You know, even if he's in poor form, he's still going to be popular. So his cards aren't going to like tank. They might lose value, but they won't tank as such. You know,
they won't tank.
No,
I think he's on a high trajectory. I think he's like the one that they look back and they go, he was like the next Allen Iverson or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know,
well, that'd
different game. But I'm just saying the little man.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, but still similar. Like, yeah, different game on the court, but still sort of similar presence type thing.
I think he's going to end up being quite iconic, I reckon. But I'm talking about comparing that to Zion. I just think Zion's always going to have, I don't know, he's always just going to be batting uphill, I reckon. He's a heavy set kid. He's already got like, niggling little injuries.
So much expectation.
Last 14 years.
What's that?
With his injuries and stuff like that already, like the amount of time he's already been on the sideline and that sort of stuff, the weight he is, like, how's he going to continue that or like have a long?
He's so explosive, man. But like, and I get it. He's a big egg and he's so explosive. But the thing is, like, LeBron was bigger than any rookie I'd ever seen when LeBron came out. But LeBron was lean big. Like he was symmetrical. He was almost like he was the stereotypical, like he was like the perfect basketball body to just be amazing. Whereas Zion's got these sorts of he's got these sorts of like crazy abilities and crazy sort of like power, and he's almost got like Shaq-like power in that sized player. And he's got skills and all that sort of thing, but I don't know. It's just something worries me about Zion. I hope I'm wrong, but he looks like the type of player that's going to be, forever like, we wish he hit his potential because he got injured all the time.
He's sort of a, like, for the lack of better terminology, but he like stomps around. You know what I mean? So like, it's the same like Larry Johnson style, and it seems to like put a lot of pressure on those joints. Like, it sounds so funny, right? But mate, I'm an old bloke that's watched sports for a long time, right? And I've seen a lot of different athletes over my time in different sports, and like these players where they like hit the ground heavy, like they're really stomping around, and and he's got a lot of skill, and he moves fast and that, but he's really, because he's so heavy set, there's so much pressure on those lower joints that they really need to be up to scratch. And you're right, man. Like, all these injuries so far is not good, because like having so many surgeries.
You look at his first year,
at such a young age.
How much time he spent on the sideline. Look at now, like he hasn't played a game yet. Like, yeah,
like he might have to change his game, because maybe it's his game style that's, like, so he maybe has to stop, running, so like stop like stomping around so much, be more of a post player or something, but like you just can't see it, like, and he just won't be Zion then, won't be this like what makes
when you get the one name,
so exciting.
When you get the one name, when people refer to you by one name, Zion, he's all set up to have all the stuff.
Tough call.
So's Ja. He's got to, like Rob says, he's got to drop the weight. I mean, he's only going to get that through reps. If he's injured, he's not going to be able to do the reps.
But see, if he drops weight, he's not going to be the same.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
I like to compare him a lot to Blake Griffin. Like, Blake Griffin came in an ultra athletic, dunking sort of bigger dude, and like you saw Blake Griffin like drop off big time over the years with injuries and that sort of stuff.
They can't push people around anymore. They're not intimidating.
Yeah.
They're just, like they're just another athlete, and they don't have the same skill set as the same guys at that same weight level anymore. You know what I mean? So they don't have anything above those guys anymore. Whereas they need that weight to be so physically intimidating. I think anyway. That's what I find. And what they need to do is probably go to the gym and just pump iron. And if there's any body fat on him, that needs to become muscle, not actually like go do cardio as such and like lose, just body mass. He needs to retain that mass. That's what I
need
reckon.
More cardio.
Anyway, but
I'm definitely going to be doing more cardio.
Oh, mate, don't we all? That's exactly what I need. I need cardio and more muscle mass.
I need to collect the set, or whatever the insert set is. I'm going to collect the whole set. No more lockdowns. I'll put this up on the screen just so that I can screenshot it for later, and I can pretend that Rob said it to me.
Has to drop the weight.
It'll be motivating for me. Thanks, Rob. I think he's talking about Zion, but that's all right. But it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, when you see some of the dollars that some of those Zion cards went for,
like it's crazy, wasn't it?
I always wondered why the Ja Morant
splash that cash.
Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder who actually, like, okay, say just hypothetically, like I don't think any of us are like multi-millionaires, but like we might be. I don't know.
Just a couple of million around
here. Hopefully somebody is. Hey, I got my hand out, thanks. But like, say for instance you won Powerball tomorrow, right? 20 million, just hypothetically, right? So it's 3 million. Okay, you could easily fork that out. But would you actually do that? Of course you fucking wouldn't. Who in their right mind would do that? Really, you know what I mean?
Pay $3 million on a card.
Like Bill Gates. Bill Gates fucking isn't interested in cards. He's on this meta level of people. Like once people are billionaires, and so who's actually buying these fucking cards? It's people
it always makes me
buying
wonder,
it without their own money. So it's like me. I start a fund, and I say I'm going to start an alternative investment fund, and I go and get 1,000 different Aussies that all give me X amount of dollars, and then I go and buy this fucking card. You know what I mean? And I don't have anything at risk. You know what I mean? It's all my fucking investors that are at risk. We're all
But you're the
shining
face of the move,
fucking
though.
card
You're the face.
out on Instagram. Yeah. But see, the hobby doesn't dive into the business side of things. They just like go, oh fuck, Lucas sold for $3.5 million. Oh fuck, this sold. Oh, you know. But like nobody actually like really looks at like through the fucking glass. They just sort of like just want to see the like the rainbow on the outside. But
the numbers, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like it is interesting because like some of them, like if they are Riggy-Dig, if these are Riggy-Dig sales, like that's amazing. That's fucking amazing, really. That there's people out there spending that sort of money on cardboard, you know, with their own hard-earned cash, just to go stick it in their lounge room and look at it, $3.5 million card or whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
But yeah,
like,
when you put it that way, it's like I mean, if you were to think
amazing.
about something else that you would spend that type of money on,
like you could go and buy. Imagine what else you could go and buy with that. Like
buy a house, like a massive house.
You could go, yeah, exactly. Like that's just I don't know. I mean, the only reason to buy something at that value is for like if it's going to go up in value. Really, so they obviously feel it is, you know, like all their fund does or whatever, you know.
It's
like
interesting though, because when you
They're
look
not
at
buying it for enjoyment.
No, probably not. I wouldn't have thought so. But who knows? Each their own. But it's like when certain NBA players, just use the NBA as an example, but certain NBA players will get awarded certain contracts, and it's like a standard thing that happens in the NBA over, well, as long as I've been following it. It's like the first couple that get it, everyone's outraged. Like I remember when Patty Mills and Joe Ingles happened to both sign contracts at the same time, and I think it was like 4 years and like $44 or something million or something like that. And people were just like, oh, geez, you know, like, yeah, 12 million a year or whatever.
Last postseason.
A couple of years ago, I think it was that they got those contracts. I think.
Oh, okay,
like that.
yeah.
But it's like everyone sort of judges it when it's a 4-year deal, where they judge it in the now and go, that's pretty pricey, man, for those guys. But the thing is, after 3 more years, everyone's spending that much more money. That the 12 mil that you're paying them, you get them bloody cheap now.
Yeah, the whole market's lifted. That's right.
The market shifts all the time. And so I think it's the same with everything where, you know, I'm not exactly pinning this to the $3 million bloody for some sort of, you know, Zion card or something like that. But it's more, you know, if you sort of think to yourself, well, something that's worth something now, the NBA is always going to go up. Cards, maybe not necessarily. Maybe they've just taken a big hike because of the boom and because everyone's home from, you know, lockdowns and they've got to, you know, reconnecting with their childhood or whatever it is. But like certain cards in the hobby, you know, they're always going to be cheap. Like if I want to get a 92 Skybox Michael Jordan, it's just like there's so many out there, right? If I want to go and try and get a PSA 10, yeah, all right, I'm going to have to pay a little bit of money for that. Someone's going to be...
You still get one, but... Yeah, they're not a scarce card. Yeah,
no, there's heaps of them out there, and you could shop around for a PSA 10. Put it that way. Like there'd be enough of them out there.
Yeah.
Whereas some of this other stuff, it's like the highs and lows and highs and lows. It's just my opinion, and I don't, you know, I profess to not know shit about shit. I'm always asking questions, but yeah, I think if you've got anything. Zion, even if he was to come back this year and have a big year and you're like, oh shit, I just don't think you're ever going to think to yourself, fuck, I let it go too early. I just really don't think it.
I just can't understand how you would pay that much for a, like, I would go out and buy, I would fucking go out and buy like, oh mate, I'll have 10 Michael Jordan PSA 10 rookie cards, please. Yeah, like what the, I just don't get it, eh? Like the guy, exactly for like the last 15 minutes, we were talking about Zion, like with injuries and all these different problems, like anything can fucking happen. Like you buy a Jordan card, mate. The guy could do.
It's a done deal.
Get thrown into jail tomorrow, and it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just, it's done.
Like MJ's story is told in a sense in terms of cards.
People, I think, find that boring, and like. I think there's a lot of people in this hobby that, like, say for instance, you're heavily invested in Zion, right? Like, you want this news, right? So like, you're happy to push, Zion sold for X amount of dollars, and so
Yeah,
everyone
because it
sort
means
of
mine's worth something.
jumps on
Mm.
board, right? But somewhere at the top, I think someone is actually making a lot of money out of it, like, because of that sale. They know that, okay, if we buy Zion at this price, this whole market, like the whole, like, what's the old saying? A rising tide lifts all boats. Like, the whole Zion market lifts. So I've got thousands, like, I don't want to use an example of a store, but like, say I'm some big sports store in America and I've got thousands of Zions in my bloody inventory. I know by buying this card at this price, I'm going to be able to move all these. I've just easy made me money back.
Maths.
You know what I mean? And like, I have no doubt there's a whole, like, inside group of people that are all organized, all that sort of shit. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, that's what I reckon.
Yeah,
Is
it's
probably
deep though.
the biggest play.
That's very deep.
That's the thing that makes the most sense to me.
It is.
Like,
Yeah.
if I look at that top end of the market, I think, okay, what would make the most sense? Because like I talk about before about all the investors, and if you set up a company, but the thing is, then you've got legal ramifications. Like, if you buy a card and like Zion goes to shit, you're going to have answers. Like, if you buy
You got to explain
shares,
yourself.
correct. If you buy shares in a company and that company goes bankrupt tomorrow, like, mate, you best believe you're gonna have a lawsuit on your doorstep for poor financial advice. You know what I mean? Like, so you've led all your investors astray. So I'm sure it's the same case in here. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily believe it's like institutional money as such. I think it's just a group of people that sort of control that top end of the market and profit on it. You know?
Because it's funny that like the top end of the market makes zero difference to the way I collect, right? And
same. For me personally, it makes zero, but it does because it affects the prices you pay.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of lucky though, because if you look at the standard type of things that I'm collecting things like Giuliano Alesi cards, right? The high end of F1 doesn't affect that really.
No, I mean, that
it's more
really
set based.
You're right.
It doesn't really affect it, but like old school or just any base, even Philadelphia Eagles cards, it's like no matter how the market changes for like Jalen Hurts or Devonta Smith or anything like that, like I can still go on eBay and I can find like, 1956, Philadelphia Eagles cards. And I'm like, this is sick. Like they're all off center. They're fucked. The little corners of shit, but it's like, it's mine. So I like it. But it's like, even those sorts of things, like the high end of town really doesn't affect me unless you say like, okay, if I want to go in a few random breaks and have a go, then I guess the prices of the boxes will go up, because if the high end of town is, you can find to use Zion as an example again, but if you can find that Zion card and the last one sold for X, then I suppose
I wonder how the high end Zion has been going lately. I don't really follow it that much, but I wonder like if they've been still, because like even last year they were getting record prices for some of those National Treasures RPAs and that. But I wonder if lately they've dived down a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. We should have some sort of sponsored card ladder account.
Everyone's hedged on Luca, but everyone's so high. I mean, you can understand it though, watching him play, but like that still is a concern for me too, because I'm like, that bloke's still only young with a lot of. And traditionally, for me, Europeans, I mean, yeah, Dirk. I mean, obviously, but like overall, they don't have the best record, for longevity in the NBA, and like, just don't know.
I think Luka will be all right. He's come into this season, I think, a little bit chubby, and he's just finding his feet. And Dallas is shit.
He seems to.
Dallas is shit. They're not a well put together team. So I think it's obvious at this point that Luka's going to be. He's going to be a little bit frustrated. You're going to see him roll his eyes a little bit more and get frustrated on court. His numbers are going to suffer a little bit because, any player that gets or can get 10 or 12 bloody assists a game, and he's throwing the ball to spuds who can't put it in the basket, then they're not spacing, they're not moving any defenses. Like I've watched a couple of their games, they're pretty fucking bad. Like yeah, I don't know. They're one of the ones that are due to make a pretty big splash pretty quickly. Who knows? Maybe they go get bloody Benji. I don't know. I can't see how he fit.
Hey, that could be.
See how he fit with Luka.
We could have just cracked the code right here.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But who do you put the ball in the hands of? I don't think Simo and Luka can play together. But maybe I've been wrong many times before. What do you reckon, Dan, about Luka? How do you feel about his start to the season?
Yeah, I think he's an incredible player. I think he's gonna. I think he's like the opposite to Zion. I think his longevity is gonna be. He's gonna have a very long career. I don't think he's gonna get. I don't know. Like he might not get too much better than what he already is. I think like his ceiling isn't too much higher than what it is. Isn't like athletically, he's like not like that sort of the same player and that sort of stuff. But yeah. The team he's got at the moment, like I read something crazy. I don't remember the exact stat. Like Porzingis is their second best player by like on paper, and his like plus minus is like it stinks. Like when he's on the court compared to when he's off the court, like Dallas are a much better team when he's off the court. Like according to that plus minus. So yeah, I don't know, Luke. Yeah, he just needs a better team, man. Like he's that sort of talent. Like if the Lakers got him after like LeBron and all that. I'd be stoked. Like he's a guy that you build your team around.
How old's he? How old's
just haven't built the team around him well.
Yeah, no, he's amazing.
Is he early 20s?
Yeah, he's like
he's like 22, 23. Like
he's 22.
So
he's not 23
like
until February.
In your Coach Dan eyes, you reckon he'll be there for a long time? You can see a long.
Yeah, I just think his game, like the style of play,
because if he keeps putting up those numbers that he does, like he'll be an all-time great without a shadow of doubt. Yeah. It's just about the longevity of his career.
Yeah,
like in my eyes. But
slow.
If you reckon it's going to be
his
long,
game
then
it's slow and it's steady and it's
good.
Like he's not too explosive. Like I just can't say like a big, like I don't know, like anything can happen. But I just think like, I can see him playing for a very long time, maybe until his mid-30s.
Interesting,
yeah.
Like you look at players like Ginobili and like those sort of dudes, like they had a very long career. Like obviously different to the player, but like I just think like a guy like him, he'll play for a long time.
It's funny how time works because like right now, they're still. I mean, they're a few $100 or whatever, like at least like for a Luka graded rookie card, like 10. But like fuck, in a few years, that could be worth heaps more.
Oh, 100%.
Like, you know what I mean?
Luka's
like, it's funny how time.
Yeah,
it's funny how time works. Like, because it seems like in my mind, I'm thinking in my head, I know I'm going to pick one up at some point. Like a decent, at least one, like a decent one at some point. But I fucking better hurry up and do it. Is what I'm starting to think in my head. Honestly, I better hurry up and do it because before I know it, it'll be too late, and I'll be like, "Well, fuck, I missed a boat."
Like
I'm not paying $2,000 for a fucking
year,
optic.
even now, like a Prism rookie of his is kind of affordable at the moment. But yeah, you're right. Like I feel like it's a sort of guy that's steadily just going to keep growing and growing in value. And he's got a big ceiling as far as card value because he's so liked as well. Like no one really dislikes him and that sort of stuff. He's very popular.
He hasn't had any scandals or anything like that.
Yeah, he hasn't done that yet.
Rob just said KP. Yeah, not yet. Rob said KP is woeful, as in the ringer. I just, I don't like. I kind of liked the potential of him when he's in New York. I was like, he's this big European guy. He can play. He can dunk on people. He can up and under and go to the basket. He can hit threes. I was like, this is fun for New York. Like this guy could be something. And then he moved and he's got to Dallas. I don't get I just don't get it.
Like, I swear he's lost the whole Dallas or something, Hendo.
Yeah, I mean, he's been injured, so
New York. He's not that guy anymore. Like he's like a shell of himself nearly.
I agree.
Jonathan,
and look,
give me your Lucas.
Yeah, Maggie.
I'll get him graded for you, mate. I'll send him the PSA.
I just think that the whole Dallas. I mean, they're 3-2. I mean, on paper they're going okay, but it's like Yeah, it's just the roster. Honestly, the way I see it is like that's the roster you would build if you were deliberately trying to finish 10th. Like I deliberately want that. Like we get some special prize for finishing 10th in the West. And so I'm going to build this mediocre. Like Luca's going to drag me to a certain element,
It's perfect,
and
like
then
where it's like you got
and
this
then the others are going
brilliant,
to drag
but
me
then
down
there's
again.
shit.
Yeah. Like Tim Hardaway
Perfect
Jr. I
balance.
think is a really solid. I think
Yeah.
Hardaway Jr. is a really solid player. He plays his role.
Yeah, he's not a bad player,
He does
eh?
his
He's
job.
pretty
But
good.
then
I
you've
think he's
got
good.
guys like Dorian Finney-Smith in the starting lineup, and like just like not the worst player, but like is he?
No.
I don't see him starting on any other.
He could be like a
team.
7th guy. He's a 7th guy.
100%.
Like it's like we talked about earlier with Ben Simmons. It's like, you know, Ben Simmons can't be the first banana. He's got to be the 3rd banana on any team. And that's forget what they'd be trading, but that's why it works for me in my head at Golden State in terms of, you know, dude, you are the 3rd banana in talent and you're probably the 5th banana in personality. So just be
I
that.
agree with that. Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But there'll be other
True.
teams where that will work as well, and you know they're not coming to mind. But yeah, I just Jack's talking about Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, I just
actually have
noticed that he's on the Anthony Edwards train.
I've never watched an Anthony Edwards game, and I feel
You
like
know
I
what?
should.
Either have
because
I,
I've
man.
never watched him either.
Either have I. I've only
That's
just
what
watched
happens.
highlights.
That's what happens
But
when
they
you're
don't-
in Minnesota,
don't
man. Like no one,
Show it on
they're not on
bloody.
TV.
I watch it on ESPN, but
Once those fuckers tried to charge me, once those fuckers at League Pass tried to charge me like $50 a month to watch that, I bailed like 2-3 years ago. I was like, I'm out. Fuck you. I've been following your league for my whole life, and you want to charge me $50 a month to watch the NBA? I'm like, nah. I'll just take my chances on Foxtel and KO and whatever else. So yeah, not too many Minnesota games. So I'd like to watch him because, like, from what I've read and the highlights and just that sort of
everyone seems to really rate him.
Twitter sphere, I rate him. Yeah, I think he's
got
pretty
a bit of
outspoken
size and
as well.
He's explosive, and from what I've seen just in the highlights, but
he's got a bit of mongrel about him, and he seems like he's not as strangely intense as what Jimmy Butler was, because I think personalities like Karl Anthony Towns just struggled with how fucking real Butler was. I don't think it was a comfortable time for Cat, but I think
and Wiggins.
And Wiggins exactly. And I think this guy, he's got some intensity about him, but he's outspoken and he's confident, and they're good things. But I don't think he ruffles up Cat as much as someone like Butler did. But
well, he can't yet, mate. He hasn't earned that yet. He's only a 2nd-year player.
Yeah. He's another one on a trajectory though. The NBA is in such a good place. Like I remember when Jordan. I remember when Jordan retired, and it was the first time, and it was that little sort of intermediate space around the sort of mid-90s or whatever.
Oh,
and
the first time.
Some of those
but it was like
coming through 100%.
But it was like who's gonna be the face of the league, and what they did back then is after '98 they sort of said who's going to be the face of the league. And what the messaging was back then, and you remember this, CP, the messaging was, it's not one guy anymore. It's this whole range of players. And you had like your T-Max and Vince Carter and
you had all of them,
Kobe Bryant, all these, Ray Allen, all these different names. And it was like, but it was so foreign to me back then to think that, but there's always one guy or two guys. Like there was always
the best.
There's always someone like Magic and Bird or Irving or Jordan, or like there was always one that was the best. Whereas now, I mean, you've still got LeBron. Anyone. LeBron's hanging on. He's hanging on. He's still the king.
He's hanging on basically by name now, and he can. Don't get me wrong. Like he can.
He's still fucking good, man. He's still good to go. But like
he is good to go. But like really, if you actually look at players and their individual performance, like I don't know if he could be even top 5 now. What do you like?
I don't
but
think
his influence on the team, number one. You know, and that's enough to make him still right up there. But his actual individual performance, like I don't know, like he's still good. Don't get me wrong, like, but
he's still bloody good. The thing
because I think he's just past his peak, and that's just the reality of it. But he's that good that
you're 18.
even he's once he's past his peak, he's still, better than freaking 99% of them. So
I still maintain he's the best person I've ever seen play basketball. Like, I think he's the best at basketball. I get the whole Jordan's the greatest of all time because that's all encompassing. That's like transforming the exposure of the game and all that massive stuff. But I still maintain that LeBron's the best I've ever seen actually play the game of basketball.
so you reckon if Jordan peak and LeBron peak 1-on-1, LeBron would win?
Oh, see,
I've got an interesting argument with that.
where it gets complicated.
Yeah, I always argue this. I argue 5 LeBrons versus 5 Jordans. Now that's an interesting debate there.
Yeah, give me the 5
LeBron's so positionless; he can guard
Jordan.
every position, can play every position in his peak. And then I don't know.
He can, but I'd still say Jordan because Jordan's just
It's
Jordan.
an interesting debate.
That one Jordan would burn 2 LeBrons with a ball in his hands, and would be able to easily guard.
You'd have the third LeBron.
Michael Jordan, how many
side.
was it? Was it 3-time defensive player of the year? Like that's man.
I don't think Jordan got it 3 times. I thought he got it once.
Yeah, I thought he was 1 time.
I'm pretty certain
he was in all defensive. It was all defensive teams. For
Maybe
sure,
that's what I'm thinking. All defensive team.
Yeah, you Jordan homers. You always pump up the stats, man.
Yeah, maybe. Probably am. It's because mate. It's not my fault. Too many pub arguments.
Yeah, it's good though. Like I enjoy it. Like there never should be a point in these sorts of conversations where someone legit rolls their eyes and says, "Oh, you're a dickhead." No, that's the whole fun of it. Is that I see it one way, someone else sees it another way, a third person will come in and see it another way. Like I think it's fun. I think it's good to. The thing is when you take these conversations to places where you can never prove it, then no one can be wrong because we can all imagine.
That's it.
Where we think it's going to work out. Nah, that's all right.
Yeah, it's all just
most of these generational players, like
you
see, like Kobe going up against Jordan. It's like, it's a really young Kobe and it's a really old Jordan. So,
I wouldn't be surprised if
you can make an excuse for it.
LeBron cards surpass Jordan cards, like the peak. Like say LeBron refractor. Something,
yeah,
or something like that.
That's a pretty good argument.
Like, because I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Stuff,
because there's better quality rookie cards. There's not just the one, but 2, like you think about in 20, 30 years time, even 40 years time, there's a lot less people on this earth that watch Michael Jordan play, and a lot more people on this earth that actually watch LeBron James play. Still. You know what I mean? So there's a lot less demand. Like you look at a Wilt Chamberlain card. When I was a kid, there was a lot more demand just in general for like a Wilt Chamberlain rookie card. Nowadays, fucking nobody really talks about that. Like if I told you I had one, you go, "Oh fuck, that's pretty cool." Give us a look at it or whatever. But like, would you actually be really willing to pay fucking $50,000 for it or whatever? Whereas like somebody throws a PSA 10 LeBron James, refract their rookie card in front of you. Like most people are gonna fucking jump at it.
They'd want it. They'd want it.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. It's sort of like
I think the Cleveland ones,
as far as relevance counts a lot. So like the longer that they're out of the game, the less relevant they are. And Jordan is no different. Yes, his name and his brand might still actually, because everyone's still wearing Jordan shoes and all that sort of shit. So, but like. LeBron's name's not going anywhere either, like he's got just as big a following now on Earth as what Michael Jordan did, I reckon.
Absolutely. Yeah,
it's just I think so.
I think it was all just new though when like Jordan took it to a level. Like you remember seeing like the 92 Dream Team, and you remember seeing some of that footage, and like Jordan's literally walking around Barcelona. And the camera zooms back from him walking, and there's like a building-sized, billboard.
You're exactly right. Because it was all new.
But no one else had that. Like on the back of Jordan being as popular as he became as a global sports icon, that's when people started to know who Barkley was. That's when people started. Like that's when Ewing could bring out a fucking sneaker that no one bought. Like.
That's right, because people started watching the game and thought, "Oh fuck, this Patrick Ewing's pretty." I relate more to him, or I like his style of play. Like, because not everyone wants to barrack for the top dog. Some people like to go for the underdogs.
Jordan took it to a level where everyone wanted to find something else that could hang off him that would make them money. And so Pippen had his own shoe eventually with Nike. And
just being around him was money.
Yeah, it's like if Jordan's making, I don't know, if we call it like for an ad agency, we can make 100 million out of Jordan. Like we've still got budgets to meet. Who can we make? Who's 3 other guys that we can make 10 or 15 million out of? Like that's the doors that opened up. Whereas once LeBron was LeBron, all those 5, 10, 15, 50 million, 100 million doors, they were already buckets that they were expecting to fill with something. The market had got so big that all these people are trying to find something to put in that bucket. Whereas when it was Jordan, there was no big buckets.
Yeah,
it was
created
just like,
the bucket.
Yeah, someone took a chance and they created the $5 or $10 million bucket. All of a sudden, fuck me dead. Like it became a 500 million bucket that that you had Jordan, and then you start backfilling. So I think from a greatest standpoint, that's why I always say, like, yeah, Jordan took the game I love to a level that it probably never got to without him.
Like Jordan's like the greatest, best, whatever you want to say of all time. But like, if anybody was to say, "Oh, look, I think LeBron is," well, I wouldn't argue. I would argue just for fun, but like, I wouldn't actually, deep down think, "Oh, they're a fucking idiot." Like, well,
but that's the thing. Like, if someone says, I don't think Michael Jordan's the best ever. I think, I think Paul Pierce is the greatest of all time.
That's a little bit of a difference. Like now you're going to start me going, hang on, man.
You'd be like, fuck off. Like you're obviously either trying to piss me off or you're taking the piss,
mate.
Yeah, it's like, but like it's an argument that you can have, and it's a conversation you can have, and you can make a case for it. People can make a case for Bill Russell just based on his accolades. People can make a case for Wilt. They can make a case
for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Don't forget
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, man, the scoring record.
You look at his accolades and you put them next to Jordan's, and they're pretty similar.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And the longevity, he played till he was like 40 or 42 or 41 or something.
But the problem with him is he's boring. And I don't want to put it that way because I don't actually find it boring. I like it. You know what I mean? But to the greater mass audience appeal, nobody wants to see somebody doing skyhooks. You know what I mean? Somebody wants to see somebody take off on the free throw line and take it to the rack. Yeah. You know what I mean? That was Jordan.
I think Jordan's flamboyancy and his style aged. It aged a lot better.
Yeah.
Like Jordan's style aged a lot better than Kareem's did. But then when you look at the top of that scoring list, and it's
I 100% agree with you. Kareem,
he's way ahead on
38,000
or something. Yeah.
And people talk. I love Shaq, and I'm a big man. People put Shaq up there, but Kareem's got to be above Shaq.
I have Kareem as the third best player of all time. Like that's how high I rate him.
I'd agree with that.
So what do you got? You got Robert Pack first, and then Kobe, and then Kareem.
I've got Wesley Matthews first, and then I've got Kwame Brown second.
Yes. Yep. That's a fun list. Kwame Brown. Yeah. Jeez. He probably a can of worms we don't want to open at this point in the show.
Mate.
Some of the stuff that he came out with, I was like,
that was next level. That was next level.
Just some of the stuff that he would talk about his experience in the league and how he just got shat on by people. It's like, all right, I get it. Like, they talk about pressure before, like pressure for a number one pick and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So, but I like the way he was. I don't know if he's still doing it. I haven't really kept up, but he was waxing lyrical on Insta and basically telling people to fuck off all this constantly. It's like even just to make the NBA, you got to be half decent. So good on him for getting his bloody.
Well, that's true. That's exactly right. Like any of those players are in the top 0.
You can't get picked number 1 over all of your shit. Like, let's be honest.
Oh yeah, like it's just like we just as humans, like that's just what humans do.
I remember one time.
Unfortunately, that's what humans do. We put shit on other humans,
Yeah,
we find that entertaining.
Stuff. Yeah,
I
remember once a valuable lesson.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Dorito dust on our chests and like licking our fingers. One thing I learned about social media, it was a great lesson that I learned once. It was like someone was joining. It's probably about 5 or 6 years, maybe more actually, probably close to 10 years ago, and someone was joining the Clippers, and they were going to wear the number 33. And I remember just tweeting out I didn't tag the athletes or anything, but I basically just wrote on there like, oh, I hope they get the permission of like Keith Kloss. I don't know if anyone remembers Keith Kloss, but he was like a big, I felt like at the time like a bit of an also ran, just this big, tall string bean bloke who wore number 33 for the Clippers. I think it's when Grant Hill went there towards the end of his career.
Oh yeah,
and
I was a Grant Hill fan when he was at the Pistons.
And I was like, oh, I hope he gets Keith Kloss's permission. And it was just me trying to be funny on socials. I was trying to get a few likes, honestly. and it was just I was just being a dickhead. But it's
didn't go down well?
Well, the thing is, Keith Kloss replied to me. He must have searched up his own name, and the reply he gave me was legit like the most nicest thing I've ever heard from anyone. He was just like, like of course I would give, like not so much give credit or give permission, but he's just like, oh, anytime my name's mentioned with someone as amazing as a person and a player as Grant Hill, I'd be forever grateful. And I just had to like eat my own words because I was using him as a joke, basically.
And he's come out being humble about it. Yeah. And
he's just been like super humble and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, yep, I'm an internet statistic. Like you fucking own me. It was great. That's why you got to be smart. You got to be aware that, just because you haven't tagged someone in something, you've, mate,
it's on record.
Yeah, that's right. And he replied. So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
One of these days I'll look it up and I'll pop it up on the screen. But it was pretty funny. But so bad. I felt bad though because I was like kind of shitting on him, and and I was like, well, he was just really nice about it. Really nice about me being a dickhead. Yeah. Let me see. Give me 2 seconds.
Man, we've been yapping on like a couple of old wives.
Yeah, as always. We'll have to wrap it up relatively soon, and that's all right. But,
what else is on the agenda?
I've only got like one more thing on the agenda, to be honest with you. So I'll
what about F1? What's been, not much going on. No race tonight. Got a race next week.
It's another
I think
week
it's at
away,
Brazil. I think there's only a few more races left. Season's almost finished, so Max Verstappen could wrap it all up. But could be exciting. A DNF could end it.
Give me 2 seconds before we jump into that. Let me just share this bloody Keith Kloss tweet.
Oh shit, he's found it.
Yeah. I said this is the time that Keith Kloss schooled me exactly 1 year ago.
Oh, so when was the cup on the agenda?
2013. So good to see Grant Hill paying homage to Keith Kloss and Mickey Moore with number 33. and I put #fiction. Look, I got 1 favorite and 2 retweets. So was it worth it? And he's like, I already told Grant Hill it was cool to rock it. Besides his credentials, demand my respect along with other things. I'm like, oh, my homie Keith Kloss. That's what I tried to shit on Keith Kloss, and he owned me. So there you go. I've got the driver standings up. So
mate,
we'll quickly
have you noticed? I don't know if you've like watched it or fallen asleep the last few races, but Yuki Tsunoda, he's coming good.
You reckon he's coming good?
He's coming good, mate. I'm telling you.
I didn't really watch the other one.
He's coming good. He was too gung ho and inexperienced or whatever, but he scored points the last couple of races, and yeah, I'm just interested to see how it progresses next year. Got a feeling he might have a cracking year. We'll see anyway. But
we've been
I was just thought I'd bring it up because it's someone I'd talked about right at the start of the year. I was like, have a look out for this guy, and he really hasn't done a lot. So
but now he's coming good.
Yeah, now
we've been speculating on a few F1 cards, Dan. So we're always talking. Like I'm learning all the time from CP about the F1s. I'm one of those people that followed it as a kid and then went away from it and then came back a little bit, sort of was aware of it but didn't really follow it. And now I've sort of come back into it and I'm like trying to watch every race and see all the content, collect the cards, the whole bit. So it's like the hobby's got me back in. A lot to do with CP as well, but like the hobby's got me back in to F1. So we always have a little yarn about it. But yeah, one of the big things about it this year, I think, as you can see here, the points themselves after all this time, 287, 275, like it's pretty close. In years gone by, I think it's always been by this stage, I think there's 5 races left. It's always been...
What's 5 left, is there?
I think there's 5 left I read earlier.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Reading my notes. And so it's like, it's usually decided by this stage, like who's going to win.
Oh, it's
so
critical.
It's a bit like...
Critical time
whereas now it's like it's a 2-horse race for once. So I think that's why, in my uneducated F1 opinion, I think that's why a lot of people are into it, because
there's literally like billions of dollars on the line. Like here, like that 12 points is separating billions of dollars between both those two teams. You know, not only the drivers earning millions, like probably hundreds of millions extra, but the teams, like, literally billions of dollars. So, it's, I mean, not only do they get, like, I think it's 500 million in prize money, but, all the extra sponsorship and extra revenue that comes from winning a championship, it's
crazy money. It's going to be a tight finish for sure.
So there's a lot on the line, like when you start like weighing up the big picture, like shit, man, and then still boils down to 2 guys on the track. In 2 cars, like anything can go wrong. One little sensor on one car could, screw a guy's race. Like one bad pit stop, bit of rain, anything. So like it makes it really entertaining when it comes down to these, down to the wire. So we could be in for some real good shows these next few races. I suggest watching, even if you just watch the start and like, because that's where all the high pressure, like, well, there's pressure throughout, but that's where it really, because the drivers are side by side. So like, that's where all the pressure's really, really on. So there's always a lot of action, and like they're gonna go for it too. Like, because when they're out on track, they're not thinking, oh, there's, I need to just keep the car safe. Like, I need to get in front of this guy to win the championship. That's all they're thinking.
Fortune favours the brave. They're going to go for it. Jack's asking if McLaren's got a car for next year.
Well, it depends. Nobody really knows yet. Like, I'll tell you one thing: the cars, don't expect anything too spectacular. I read a thing that apparently they're about 7 or 8 seconds slower than on average than this year's cars. Now, this
is that across the board?
Yeah, just on average, just across the board. So it could be like 10 seconds at some tracks, 6 seconds at another, but on average 8 seconds. And but that's just teams doing their simulator work. So they put all like, they got these, world-class simulators. Like, you think about a simulator driving sim at home, like this thing's just ridiculous. It's like an IMAX theater version of it. You know what I mean? Like, literally there's a whole thing in there that simulates the whole race and everything, right? Like whole car, tires, suspension, everything. It's all on hydraulics and that, right? But like the software is just supreme, and they've already uploaded all next year's parameters and that, so they're already like simulating next year's cars. And
my mate said it's like NASA. It's like NASA.
Pretty much.
Like, yeah, you're not far wrong. Like,
that's pretty much what that's the closest sort of comparison. Like really is NASA. Like it's sort of like aerospace industry sort of stuff. Like but it's quite interesting. But next year, I think anything could happen, mate. Like Williams could be fucking fast. Fucking Haas could come out and bloody have a good car, I mean, they got a Ferrari engine at the end of the day. It's got potential. If they get a good car around them, they
with
any
competition,
fast,
that's what you want. You want there to be enough questions that need answering throughout a season. It's like the NBA in the sense that if we just came out and it was just like, it's the Nets, Lakers, just going to be what it is. How many times in an NBA season have we thought that and it hasn't turned out the way it has? That's why last year's finals was so cool. like Milwaukee and Phoenix. It's like crazy. So maybe it could happen with F1 as well.
People wonder why they muck around and change all the rules and all that, but like, look at any sport they do it. Like in Formula One, it just seems that it's so because the whole fucking car has got to get changed. You know what I mean? But like, that's just the nature of the beast. Like, it has to have such a big change in it. But you look at like NBA players. Like, if you got a really, really dominant, like Shaq, for instance, you know, the game changes around them as well,
Yeah.
and they've got to like change rules almost around them and that, you know, like enforce.
They definitely
rules
did that
differently
with I know they did it with Wilt back in the day.
with
like
Wilt, you know, that's
Yeah.
right. And like, so with Formula One, they've just learned that every so often they have to update things to refresh it. It needs like a refresh almost. And this
and
is
it levels
just,
the field.
yeah, levels the field, and and I mean, everyone's got, you know, a few years warning and has got plenty of time to build up to it. So, but some teams, they prefer to, like, for instance, concentrate on this year and go, okay, we're going to try and win the championship this year, but like, we don't have enough resources to put some money in this year as well as next year. So we have to like prioritize. Whereas other teams go, well, fuck this year. We're not worried about this year. We'll just try and have a good team. So like a good car next
NBA
year.
does
So
the
like a
same.
team like Mercedes having a really good car this year, and may not be so good next year. But then again, it's also Mercedes, who are like a fucking powerhouse with endless amount of resources. So maybe they could, you know. But I don't know. It's all question marks. So anything could happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Like,
yeah.
it's the next race is next weekend, not this weekend. So
Brazil, isn't it?
we'll all I think so.
You
Yeah,
got that
so
there?
we'll all,
Yeah.
we'll all,
Interlagos, is that what it says? I think
uh,
that's what the track name is.
uh,
That's a good track, actually.
schedule.
Mark
I think
Webber had a
Mexico.
massive stack there one year.
Mexico first, and then Brazil.
Oh yeah.
So it's
are they racing Mexico this year?
yeah, 5th till the
Oh
7th
fuck,
of
they are.
November.
I didn't realize they were even racing in Mexico. I thought before COVID,
Gran Premio de la
Mexico was still
Ciudad
off, but...
de Mexico. I can't
Sweet.
say, but yeah.
Okay,
But
cool.
yeah.
Well, that's a pretty cool track. There's one section that like goes through like it almost looks like a baseball stadium. It literally
right.
there's a whole, like, if you'd imagine there's like a grandstand built around the whole corner, but it's like a half a like.
I think this photo actually has it. Is that it?
Oh, here we go.
That looks like it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it like that. You see,
corner.
that corner. So that whole grandstand goes all the way around there, and that like.
That's heaps cool.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty sick, eh? It's so loud there. Like, even like the cameras capture the sound and that.
And all that, the Mexican fans and stuff.
Mexicans, mate, crazy, man.
They go
crazy for sport,
mad
general,
loud.
but
Yeah, they love it.
It's funny,
cool.
a lot of these South American countries, you know, they're big into soccer. You know, another thing they're big into is motorsports, like motorbikes and go-karts are massive in these countries.
Yeah,
man.
right. That's
so,
interesting.
and go-karts translates as way all Formula One drivers start off as go-kart racers as kids. You know, so like every single one of them, like none of them are like start racing. I don't know, like dirt cars or something like that. They're all go-kart races.
That's cool.
It's just that experience that sort of comes in, you know, that they need. But but in Mexico they're like massive, just massive. And you just think, man, like,
I love that.
You think with Mexico, like, and Brazil, even like massive motorsport fans and that, but like it costs money, you know, motorsport, like to be involved in it. And you think, how do these people? But they're just big, I suppose, you know, armchair fans, you know. And they all get free to air. I seen that fact the other day that F1 gets broadcast free every race, free to air to Brazil. I was like, what the fuck? How does Brazil get every race free to air? We get stitched up with fucking pay TV.
Yeah, well, that's been happening for a while.
Bloody hell.
That's cool.
All
right. Well, we've been going 2.5 hours. I reckon we might be just about ready to wrap up. I wanted
just quickly, Magda there reckons Pandas each way. He's been dropping a few things here. Yeah. Oh, Galanda. Oh, he's just okay, righto. Oh, he's going off.
Melbourne Cup tip.
Who just kind of support an F1 any team? Is Punter a Red Bull guy? Lando. No, I'm a Daniel Ricciardo guy. So I'll follow whatever team he's in, or any Aussie. I'm a nationality. I look at Formula One as like a world sport. So any Aussie in there, I'll follow. But
Yeah.
there's a heap of drivers that I actually like. But
Yeah. I'm the same.
Ricciardo is my fave. But Oscar Piastri, who's a young bloke in Formula 2, hopefully we'll get an F1 gig in the next year or two. He'll be in there too then. So
Yeah, right. I love it. I appreciate the comments, Maggie. You're always up and about.
Love
Always
it, Mag.
keep the
That
comments
little
rolling
Ricardo
through.
shoey.
And thanks to Jack as well. Jack was pumping a heap
Yeah,
of
I've
through
seen
before.
Jack in there. I did see that 5
He
team,
said
a 5 wilt team. Yeah, that would be
wilts,
fucking nuts. Imagine that.
and
I was just thinking that in my head.
Yeah,
5 wilt Chamberlains.
how good the Bulls are going. We talked about that a little bit earlier, which was
Mate,
cool
lock
as
up your
well,
wires, mate. 5 wilt Chamberlains out there.
5 wilt Chamberlains.
Oh, mate, can you
Bloody
imagine
hell.
how many women that would be?
Mate,
I don't know if you young blokes know all those
statistic it
stories,
was
but
times
if you
5.
don't, Google it.
yeah. Look up Will
Yeah.
Chamberlain's scorecard and have
Exactly. Not his basketball box score.
he's Hall of Fame in all areas. All right, so what we're going to do, I'll quickly just share again, Dan, your Insta. I think pretty much everyone who tunes into this show is well aware of your Instagram, but for those that aren't, please check it out. You're on 1849. You're pushing towards that magic 2000. Do you have anything?
Mag, you better be following him.
I think
you
he
better
is.
follow, Maggie.
He is? Oh, he is.
He is?
All right.
That's good. So you typically do some like giveaways and all that type of stuff at these different milestones.
I've got a good one for 2000. I've got a good one.
Can you reveal anything about it yet, or we got to wait?
It's a Kobe rookie.
Ooh, sweet Jesus!
Get the old Insta.
Yeah, see, we're trying to get Punter. We're trying to get Punter on Insta. This might be the. This might just get him over the line. Might just get him over the line. Get Punter an account.
Tempting.
He's going to enter the competition and win it on the randomizer.
Can you imagine that?
What a story!
Instagram.
Fuck, what a story! It'd be amazing. It'd be like CDC picking that goddamn Sabonis card that night.
That was amazing.
That was amazing. Actually, just really quickly, but yeah, go and follow Dan's account.
Yeah, get on it, people.
He's got heaps of bloody fantastic photos. I did also want to just quickly share, because I'll forget about it, but our buddy Adam Smith at Beats and Breaks,
what's his latest creation?
Yeah, he gave us a heads up one episode on a Hailie Deegan card he was working on, and we got to see the start of it. And this is, look, it says here 6 weeks ago. It's quite old news, but that's the finished product, and it looks fantastic. Looks awesome. He's
wow.
He's really crushing these things. Like, he's hitting them out of the park, and he's getting better and better each time. So, those that know him through the Discord, like, yeah, reach out.
Does Hailie Deegan, does she have Prism cards? Like,
I actually don't. I couldn't tell you.
I think she would, wouldn't she?
Yeah, probably.
That
I remember he was saying on that other show.
They should do fucking cards like that.
Yeah, he was waiting on the monster patch, I think, when we spoke to him last time.
Oh yeah, right.
But yeah, he's
color matched.
Yeah, he's done quite a few. Old Turbo. Julia wants
cool.
a DM.
I like that.
That's nice of her. Thanks, Julia, for the DM in your undies.
Oh, I hate those ones. They're always the first comment too.
Yeah, just bots on bots.
Oh, what is it?
Oh, you get the bots TP on Instagram.
Yeah. It's all the accounts that Maggie follows. They all got their gear off.
Maggie always DMs them.
Yeah, I know. He just says hello. What's going on? There's another one that he did with Dwayne Wade. It was a bit of a 2K inspired.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Like, I like that as well. He's getting to the. I like the video.
That looks heaps cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fucking. He should design NFTs.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And this one, I think, is actually actually a real card. That's a real one.
That's probably worth a bit of coin. That I'm not 100% sure, but like, I think because she's quite popular, right?
Yeah, she's, in the words of Anchorman, she's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. I don't know how good, because I don't know that much about NASCAR, but like, so I don't know how good she actually is. But I hope she's good because I it's something I've said before. I want to see more females in motorsport. I think it's be fucking great because it's a perfect platform for females to do really well on. Like, it's not like they've got to physically perform at the same level. You know what I mean? Like where they got to post up against a fucking LeBron, like some chick posting up against LeBron. Like, come on, it's just not going to happen. Like, you got to deal with reality. Yeah, horse racing, exactly the same. Like, so I really want to see some women get there on talent, Like, and just start killing it, and it just becomes like a norm where people aren't even like, there's first female Formula One driver, fucking, it's just whatever.
Yeah, you need that first couple to inspire the next generation.
That's it. That's right. Yeah.
Love
and
it.
It'll happen. I reckon it'll happen. It's something that I want to see in my time happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Same. All right, boys. We're gonna wrap it up. We've gone 10:41 p.m. It might be a record. So well played, everyone. But yeah, thanks CP as always. You're the man.
No worries, man.
We all know that. Dan, 2-time champ. Thanks for coming on the show again and just talking shit about sports and the hobby and everything. It's been great fun and people will get amongst it with those shirts. I'm gonna order mine. Tomorrow. I got the day off. Loving a 5-day weekend for me. So yeah, I'm going to jump on and grab one. So those that are out there listening, jump online and grab a cool shirt. Look good walking around with Coach Dan on your chest. That's what you want.
Legend, boys. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Thanks to the chat as well. Thanks, Maggie.
Thanks, everyone. Whoever's still here.
Spamming the living piss out of the chat just before we get off the line. So that's fantastic. But yeah, thanks, boys.
Helping out the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, the algorithm.
Thank you, mate.
Algorithm, Maggie.
Keep those comments coming.
Talk to you soon. Cheers, everyone.
Remember to like, subscribe, everyone.
Yeah, that's right. I always forget
Hit the bell icon.
Yeah. Good lad.